Welcome to Pookie in Paradise. My name is Jeff. My friends call me Pookie. We have a packed show for you guys today. This is actually one of our few shows that we have multiple guests. So if you are expecting an hour and a half, 2 hour show, it's going to be more like 4 or 5 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, but with us as always, Hand of the Pook, Leah Kasari. How are you, Leah?
I'm streamlined. How are you?
I don't know what to make of that response. So I'm just going to more. Oh, you shaved. Did you get yourself waxed? Did you finally take the plunge, or?
No, I didn't. But I just really like saying that I'm streamlined. So I'm just gonna start saying that every week.
It's something that you can get away with, but if Mounts and I used it, we'd immediately be arrested for being creepy. You should try it.
Speaking of, I have questions for both of you.
Uh-oh. Well, let's check in with Mounts real quick, and then you can ask the questions. Mounts, you made a little note. The first note you've ever made in a Pookie in Paradise outline. Yes. You've had a very shitty week, so I know you're saving some of that for at least the end segment. But You want to fill us in a little bit?
I'm also streamlined right now. So
that just hearing your voice say that.
I've shaved everything. No.
Finally, you can live up to your potential.
Yes, I'm ready to reach super mounts.
Yes, super mounts.
No, nothing.
Hashtag super mounts.
Yeah, hashtag super mounts. Let's get it going. Just work in general.
It sounds like your Chihuahua is having another shitty week.
That's actually the Pitbull. She's tearing a human up over there.
Sorry,
I don't know what's wrong with her.
She sounds so violent.
She's very violent. She's vicious growl right now. You can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be here. Doing good. Having a shitty week, but this makes it all better recording this episode. So,
right.
Hashtag poor mounts.
Yeah, he didn't listen to the Mams episode yet, but
my Facebook blew up. I was like,
did it? Good.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? And then Jeff explained to me that part of the episode.
It was actually really funny. Just we have to go back and listen to see how many times Leah actually has said "poor mounts." If it is, in fact, every episode, she even claims that it was on Teat.
I've said it on Teat. I don't know if it's actually. You would have to go through the unedited raw footage, but I've definitely said, "Oh, poor mounts," at least once an episode.
So it's been a little over my first full week in Florida, and I've noticed a couple things about Florida. Number one, Wawa parking lots are just as dangerous down here as they are in PA.
I was actually there's Wawas there?
Yeah, in some kind of crazy business strategy, they went as far south as Virginia, I believe. And then there's this gap, and then there's just 5 in Central Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have the
two
same
of them are
food?
right near me. The same what?
Like food?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not more southern style soups or something like that. It's all the same.
No. It's like McDonald's.
Okay.
You can get a Big Mac at any McDonald's in the country, most likely the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if being that we're in a different time zone. Oh wait, it's still open 24 hours. So.
There's not 25 hours in Florida because of the time difference.
Right. That'll be the next argument. Well, there's 25 hours in Florida. The other thing I noticed is that the entire state is a strip mall.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know what a strip mall is, right?
Well, yeah.
Think of the what are they called? The outlets. In Collegeville, what are they called? The premium outlets.
Premium outlets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that. Only
everything's okay.
There's one
outdoors.
of those after every traffic light.
Oh my goodness. That's
the one thing I loved about Florida when I lived there is they have like these flea markets outlets like that are open every day of the week.
That's interesting.
You'll have to send me a link to one of them or something.
Yeah, I'll have to find it's. I'm trying to think of the highway. It's the highway that connects Daytona and Tampa, but I used to live off of it, and down that road somewhere there was two of them. I used to buy records there real cheap, and then I would buy like the shitty band, like those fake tin wall hanger things, like Metallica. I buy that there.
When did you live in Florida?
2001 for like 2 years.
Huh.
After culinary school, I got my degree in pastries, and I went to Universal Studios and worked in their bake shop. So I actually got to use my degree for 2 years.
And then he moved back to locally owned Osgood's, which at the time only had one restaurant, and they would not let him make a fucking dessert.
Poor mouse.
Yep.
They'd rather buy the desserts from a third party.
Good riddance.
And but the thing about it's great because there's lots of convenience in it, but it's overwhelming. Like at least in like where we were living in Pennsylvania, if you had to go get something, there was like one option. Now there's like a million.
Yeah.
I've noticed that I don't miss winter. Even though I saw it was like 60 degrees today.
Yeah, it was like 50, it was nice.
You left Pennsylvania and you kind of broke it. We have this mutual friend I have a friend that lived in California for like, I don't know, 6 weeks maybe. And the whole time she was there, she lived in Palm Springs. It rained for the entire 6 weeks.
So I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
She didn't live there. She visited there for 6 weeks.
Whatever.
6 weeks is not long enough to be considered living there.
She wanted to live there. It was her goal. She just didn't.
I want to live in Hawaii. That I live there.
Me too.
But she broke California. So Jeff did the opposite. He fixed Pennsylvania when he left.
You're welcome. So before we get into the last little thing I want to mention here, before we get into our very emotional middle part of the show, Leah, go ahead. You said you had some questions for us.
I do. Last week, you guys were given a challenge, I believe, to use the pickup line I gave you.
Yes.
Did either of you do it?
I did. Well, here's the reason why it's not on today's episode. I want to give us another week. Okay. But we can certainly discuss our experiences thus far without going into the detail. So, Mounts, I have a feeling you didn't even try. I
did try, but
Is it recorded?
It's not recorded, which is I don't know how do you what's this when you recorded it, you just had your phone out. I'm trying to figure out the most
inconspicuous way.
Yeah, the inconspicuous way to record me.
Well,
what if it works?
Well, then you just put your phone in your pocket and keep going. What are you talking about? She takes you home right there?
Right there. What if she just starts blowing me right there?
You just find a empty hospital room and just start doing it like chipmunks.
So
then you would just put your phone away. I don't understand what the.
But you mean you want you have the phone out while you're doing it?
Well, yeah.
I guess you could hold it.
You just hold it. Yeah.
You could hold it. All right. Never mind. All right.
So how did it go? Even though
it
never happened.
It didn't go well.
Good.
I messed up. I couldn't. I had thought about it too long, and then I had messed it up a little bit. Well, here's the thing. So it was I was at lunch today, and there was a table of nursing students, and they all left except for one. So I went over to do it, and I messed it up, and they all started coming back, and we're like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "So I'll have to send you a picture of me So not only am like, you know, they're 20-year-old, like, good-looking girls.
Right.
I'm in my chef outfit with a floppy chef hat, a creepy mustache, and like a half-grown beard. And I was like, nothing. And then I walked away.
You look like the Muppet Chef.
I look like the chef from the Muppet Show.
This is the
combination.
game
And then
ever.
instead of being
the combination of the chef from the Muppet Show and the Mexican word of the day meme guy.
Yes, and then instead of like saying it correctly, I said
the love child of those two.
I said, now that I've got my first wish, I don't know what the second and third are going to be. Instead of saying, you know, like completely messing it up.
Right.
So.
And Jeff, how did yours go?
Mine went equally as poor, just not the same story. But I actually have mine recorded, so I'm not going to give away too much. I will just, spoiler alert. I was not successful.
So this week,
I tell you what, it is fucking scary as shit.
It is.
It's horrifying.
I can't imagine.
I have no problem
just can't imagine
making an ass out of myself doing karaoke or just getting bombed out of my mind and making a fool of myself. But for some reason like that, and it's not even the fear of rejection. Like I go into it expecting to get rejected. Like for some reason, it's terrifying.
Well, I just can't imagine being a guy. Like, you guys have a really hard job. Like, we just really have to sit there and you're going to come up and talk to us. But you have to figure out in the 30 seconds you're standing there staring at this person, what you're going to say, especially if you don't have a pickup line given to you by some moron girl on a podcast. Like, I just don't, I give guys more credit than I think they deserve. You guys have a hard job picking up chicks.
Oh, it is. Well, I mean, how do you know? How do you know they're taken? How do you know they're,
Right.
It's
right.
Do
they have a sense of humor? Are
right.
they going to just mace you?
Or are they going to kick me in the balls?
Right.
Right. Like with me, honest to God, like it would work. If some guy walked up to me and gave me a cheesy pickup line like that, I would be, I'd probably buy him.
You'd start talking to them.
I would. But that's the kind of person I am. I know a lot of my friends.
Or you like marry them right away. You're just
exactly.
Because I think there's two extremes there. There's the normal human being reaction where you appreciate the effort and the line, so you'll have at least a conversation with them and be open to getting to know them. And then there's you, who is literally going to fall in love immediately, which sounds dangerously unhealthy for the relationship as a whole.
Jeff sounds like he's speaking from experience.
Oh shit.
Because I mean, there is that element to you. You get excited about things very quickly right off the bat, and then it's like, wait a minute. I.e. Adam Caper.
Oh, please don't throw that in my face ever again. And we all have mistakes.
Yeah.
I just don't know yours. I'm sure you have a couple.
I have many, many mistakes. I'm sure they've come out on the show here from time to time.
I'm sure.
Actually,
one of them on the show.
Biggest mistake ever. And that leads us to the next one. Because of you, we're getting. I have it spelled correctly here, but because of you and your antics, the whole company's getting sewed.
I couldn't figure out. Like, I could not. Like, I saw the outline and I was like, "Wait, getting sewed again." I don't know how that ties in to the pit. Like any of the situation.
It's really funny because all the new White Horse people, all the people helping us with our social media and show graphics and everything. After I just gave them, I said, like, here's what we're talking about on the show this week. And the girl Rachel, she's, by the way, wonderful. Can't say enough good things about all of them, but her, since we're talking about the show graphics, which she's been on every week. And so I told her, just kind of, and I don't. There's not much explanation. Like I can't stress enough how many group chats there are in all of our lives, but it's nonstop. So I give short, like, very quick answers because I'm moving on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wrote, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot it was Tuesday. The show's coming out tomorrow. Here's what we're talking about. And I put the Pitbull ban, what I've noticed in the first week of being here in Florida, and sewed again, SEWED. So I've been getting all these texts like, did you mean sued? I'm like, nope. I mean, because they're not privy yet to the history and the conversation. They're slowly getting it, but like the history of just the short life of the company and the shows and everything like that is so complex already.
It is.
It's not that you can just tell somebody in one sitting. It has to come out over time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I got us sewed.
Yes. And look, we're not going to talk a whole lot about the details of why. If you want to know what's going on, listen to Monday's episode of Mams. That's going to be the last thing, unless something else comes up that we'll really dive deep into. But look, these people that are involved is angry that we called her out for doing exactly what she admitted to doing. So she. So she, after listening to the episode of a show that she despises, with nothing better to do in the world, she sends me a message saying, "I'm taking this episode to my attorney, and if there's a case, I'm going to sue you, SEW."
And Jess' response was just beautiful.
Well, yeah, I basically just responded like, number one, you don't have a case. Number two, all they did was talk about the stuff that you admitted to doing. And number three was like, I forget what number three was.
I think it was like, good luck with that. Number three,
no, it was a little depth in that. It was, number three, like, how do you, number three was a question. How do you,
that's right.
How do you think you have the right to sue anyone in the world for based on those two? Oh, they didn't mention your name at all. So what are you going to, so she said she was going to take it to her lawyer, right? The episode's 2.5 hours long. They don't even get into it until like 40 minutes. Right.
You have to sit through a long episode to talk about it. 15
minutes later, she messages or she messages me again. She's like, my attorney advised me not to say anymore. So, are we to assume that her lawyer listened to 2.5 hours worth of content in 15 minutes and said, "Oh, well, we have a case here"? Whoa.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
And it's just so unbelievable. And then she blocked me and like, look, this is going to come off as me sounding like a pretentious asshole. I have like 4,900 friends. The only reason I noticed that I'm not friends with you anymore is because you immediately hit the block button on Facebook Messenger and I couldn't reply to your message within 6 seconds. That's the only reason I even noticed. Like, it was done to try and hurt me, like hurt my feelings. Do you really think that someone who's threatened to sue us like 9 times now, that I have to be friends with you on Facebook?
And someone that's deleted and blocked you a few times too. This isn't the first time you've been deleted or blocked either, so it's just funny.
And it won't be the last.
Oh, I'm sure it won't.
It's so unbelievable to me. And this, this person is not young.
No.
She's I don't know. I don't want to get it's already obvious who it is, but based on, but look, okay, so this this person's married, she's got a family, she's got dogs, like she's got a good job. Like this is what you're spending your time doing? Listening to a podcast that you despise, blocking, unblocking people, and threatening to sue them. Like, okay, so there should be a fucking law, a federal law that if you are going to attempt to sue somebody, you should at least know how to fucking spell it. And people are going to say, well, maybe it was just a typo. And maybe it was, but this person is not known. And I thought I was terrible at grammar until I met some of these people.
Me too.
They are, she is horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an isolated incident.
No, it's not at all. None of it is isolated. I don't want to talk about it because really, like I said what I had to say. It's over. But
yeah, I don't want to talk about it either. I just love the fact. I love when I get threatened to be sued or sewed.
I just love that
I
they
want to start
come
keeping
to you
count.
too.
I know. I wasn't even on the episode. I haven't even given my thoughts on it. I haven't talked about it publicly at all.
No.
She comes to me. It's great. Go ahead. I don't have any money.
Yeah, I know. You can get blood from a rock.
I have $0. So you might win. That's great. You're not getting anything from it.
So
get me to take down
us.
the episode. Right.
Advertise with us because Leah's going to keep getting us sewed. So
right. I need to pay for Leah's lawsuits here.
And you listen. If I'm getting people sewed, just wait till Robin starts running loose because she
is the wild card in all this. That we thought that the first White Horse sex scandal was going to be you by accident.
Yeah,
but it's going to be Robin on purpose.
Yeah, it's all going to be Robin on purpose.
Hashtag that shit. Robin on purpose. Put that on a t-shirt.
That's
Give us money so we can put that on a t-shirt so we can sell them and then pay for all of not only Leah's but Robin's lawsuits as well. Lawsuits. I can't even say that. Like lawsuit, lawsuits.
Soats would it be?
Hashtag lawsuits. Mounts, how do you feel about it? You have the big job. You're making more money than all of us. We get sued. Maybe they're going to come after you.
I'll just sue you guys too. I'll hop right on. Like I'll turn coat so fast.
Gotcha.
I told those guys not to do whatever they're selling you for,
right.
But they didn't listen to me.
Mounts doesn't even know what we were doing.
I was like, so I'm going to counter sue the company
for no money.
Right. I want a better title.
You gave yourself the title of vice principal.
Vice principal.
Yeah, that's right.
Mounts is like, I want to say, other than
you demoted yourself. You demoted your own title. You were vice president. Now you're vice principal by your own accord.
Mounts is like what? At least 75% of the episode, and he doesn't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I'm gonna listen tonight at 4 a.m. when we're done recording this. So.
Okay.
Speaking of that, we should move on. There's no reason to dilly-dally because unlike last week where we had a mediocre show, we have a slightly better than average show today.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Dilly-dally.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I'm bringing that. That's
dilly-daddle.
You never heard? I've heard dilly-dally.
Dilly-daddle.
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 The fuck out here.
Get the dilly-daddle.
No, dilly-dally. Dilly-dally, yeah. Or dilly-dolly. I've heard dilly-dolly too. I've never heard of
daddle. You're daddling. Diddly and daddling.
Burning question.
Daddle or diddle.
Half hour after, we're still talking about.
We're still dilly-dally, dolly, and daddling.
I agree on the dilly.
Okay, well, at least
disagree on the dally.
Well, thanks for reaching across the aisle there, Turbo.
All
right. So we have two guests today. A good friend of the show, Teaghan, and also from Mams themselves, Robin Lynne, spelled whatever way I spelled it, not her way. What does she want, an E on it or something?
She wants an E on it, yeah.
All right. So I spelled it Robin Lynne, Lynn. Yeah. And I get reamed out because I forgot fucking E. How am I supposed to fucking know? I don't know.
Like I said, she's a loose cannon.
Right. She's gotten way too confident over the past couple weeks. She's been on too many other podcasts as guests.
Agreed.
And she's I feel like a hostile takeover coming on here. So we might have to knock her down a peg here on PIP. Everybody's been sucking the farts out of her asshole the past couple weeks.
We're gonna have to sew Robin for
the
right horse name eventually.
Right, she's gonna take it. somehow create like a board of executives or a board of directors and somehow kick me out, even though it's like Bruce Wayne in the second Batman trilogy, the second Batman.
Oh yeah.
He got his though. He figured it all out. So we are going to talk about a very heavy subject. You're going to hear me yell and curse a lot more than normal.
Mm.
And but before that, Teaghan sent me this audio clip of this talent that she has. That's the creepiest fucking thing I have ever heard, and I'm sure going to see. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but I'm gonna keep it a secret for now. Let her expose it to you. It is fucking weird.
Okay, so
I hate it.
Before we get into it, is it creepier and weirder than like me and Helena?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm excited. I'm gonna love it.
Leah's gonna fall in love, leave her husband for Teaghan.
I'm already halfway there.
She got like really excited about this weird talent that Teaghan has, but it's going to wear off very quickly, and she's immediately going to regret her choice.
I'm already halfway there with Teaghan, though. Teaghan is Mam's biggest fan. We love Teaghan.
She's very supportive of all the shows, but
she is. She's amazing.
Yes. So let's take a break. Maybe we'll have a sponsor by tomorrow. Maybe we won't. We don't know. I should know. That's important. I should know if we're going to have a sponsor tomorrow, but I don't. Maybe someone will come in at the last second. But most likely this will be a break where we're literally back in 0.5 seconds. Welcome back, everybody.
That was a very informative ad that just aired.
Well, most likely it was one of those 0.3 second. There was no point in us even pretending to take a break type situations. It just helps me edit it a little bit later tonight. Okay, so we have two guests today. One of them, the infamous Robin Lynne without an E.
Fuck
Robin,
you.
Robin from as you know her from Mams. She is drunk and exhausted. She's been working 1 million hours a week. And yet she's still, well, we haven't decided yet, either an incredible team player or Leah and I predicted that you are planning a hostile takeover. You've gotten too big for your own britches already. You've been asked to do all these podcasts, be a guest.
Yes, you got it. I actually have quite a few things in the works. So once I'm able to roll up my sleeves and really reveal my evil plan,
I'm actually frightened. Like, the idea of Robin having an evil plan is frightening.
One person
it's in my notebook.
No, I wouldn't want to fuck with Robin. Hence why I love her so much.
But she's drunk at work, so we could always hold that again.
Not at work. I'm drunk. I got drunk after work.
No. This is work.
Right now. Yeah, this is work.
Well, okay, technically it's a volunteer event, but
yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm not getting
right
paid. I'm not getting paid, and I'm not sleeping with anybody's boss. So until that shit happens.
Okay, so you're volunteering right now. That's still very unethical.
Look, I am unethical. That's my middle name with an E.
She's starting to make a brand for herself, her own brand. We have to stop that right now.
Yeah, we gotta nip that shit in the bud.
Come at me like Tanya, like I'm Nancy Kerrigan. Who's Tanya Harding? Who's gonna break my kneecap?
Mounts.
So we also have with us friend of the show, Teaghan. How are you, Teaghan?
I am wonderful.
Thank you for appearing on Pookie in Paradise. This is your first official podcast appearance, if you will.
Completely, yeah. I've never been on a podcast before.
Are you excited?
Sure. We'll go with excited.
You've openly expressed your anxiety, avoidance of doing things like this. So somehow we got you on here, and the first thing that we're going to ask you to do is to this weird, creepy talent that you have. But Leah, you were going to say something before we get there. We're gonna add a little suspense here. We're gonna hold off.
Okay. Oh, I was just gonna say I am so stoked to have you be talking to you because I love Teaghan. Teaghan is my favorite person.
I love you.
Teaghan daily makes me smile, like legit daily. Robin I deal with, but Teaghan I love.
Yes.
Teaghan's our
That's
first
only
groupie
because
here at
I'm
White
not.
Horse.
I'm not the light of your
Horse
life.
stalker.
Teaghan looks like a pro. She's already drinking.
Right? She is a pro.
That is the
Not
only way we
fucking
get through these episodes is by drinking and smoking. We have to come up with a code word for weed, otherwise one of us will get reported again.
Yeah.
Let's think about that. We'll ask the audience what's our code word for when we're smoking weed. We're smoking.
It's like a safe word.
Right, exactly. Smoking
Pineapple.
bananas.
Or get into the
Bananas.
heebie-jeebies.
The heebie-jeebies. I like that one.
Smoking the Marlboro Green Packs.
Oh shit.
So one of the reasons why we're all on here together is that we're all animal lovers, which we'll get into a little bit later on. But so Teaghan and I are talking yesterday, and she asked me if I have any weird talents, and my response was I can burp on command. Or no, was it useless talents? Yeah, it was useless talents, and mine was burping on command. It is. It's not special by any means, but it's certainly useless. And then her response was, "Oh yeah, I can do that, but I can also do this," and sends me a recording of her imitating a baby. And it is
shut up.
well. She says she can do it with animals, and is it children or just babies, infants?
Just babies.
So you can't do like toddlers, but you can do babies.
I can do a baby cry, yeah.
It is the weirdest, creepiest thing I've ever heard, and I'm afraid to actually like see her produce it. Like, I'm afraid for the visual. So let's everybody be very, very quiet. What are you going to do? Are you going to do the animal sounds for? Yeah, do the animal sounds first because that's not as creepy.
What animal do you want?
What can you do? I heard
farm animals.
All of them.
You heard a sheep?
Okay, so let's start with the sheep.
Oh my god, I have to like prepare myself for this.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
The thing that you guys can't see is she actually looks like a sheep while she's doing it. So not only is it the sound coming out of her mouth, but her whole face morphs into that of a sheep. So you can do what, all barnyard animals?
I can do a lot of barnyard animals. I used to be a daycare teacher, and they used to joke that I didn't major in art ed. I majored in animal sounds.
Is that why you got fired?
I did not get fired.
Kids?
I left on good terms.
Okay. All right. I mean, there's no proof of that, but we'll take your word for it, I guess.
Jeff, can we do like a round robin where we just like throw?
Yeah, go ahead. You want to start, Lee?
Okay. Yeah. Can you do a donkey?
I just realized I'm muted. I'm over here pissing myself. That's amazing. Do a rooster, do a rooster, do a rooster.
I thought the rooster was going to be the one that you couldn't do. Mounts, do you have one?
I was going to say chicken, but I mean, that's a rooster. Well, that's amazing.
Can you do a dolphin? I know it's not barnyard, but a lot of people can do dolphin
dolphin's
noises.
Kind of basic. It's not very good, but it's.
Let me hear your basic Becky dolphin. Let me hear it.
Oh my god, it's amazing. That's a super talent, Teaghan.
Can you do an alligator?
No,
I'm joking.
They don't really make a
noise.
noise.
Do a horse.
So horses, my horse is just.
Okay, that one. Yeah, I can do that one.
That's a basic.
What about a cow?
No. No.
It's like
sounds like the cow is like fucking high or drunk or something.
Stop talking about me like that, because I'm both.
So the reason I wanted you to save the baby for last because it definitely is it's uncanny. I can't even I hate it. I might have to close my eyes for this. This has been like this is what nightmares are made out of. So let's all get very, very quiet and listen to the baby.
Oh my god!
My milk just got in. Like I need to shove my tit in somebody's mouth. My milk just came in.
If we have anybody listening that's pregnant, they fucking just boob pissed all over themselves.
Oh my god!
Wait, you got to do that
Holy
again.
Shit.
Are you pressing a button?
Yeah, you have to have a. I would say that she has a soundboard pulled up on her computer, but we've already talked that her computer is like 50 fucking years old and doesn't even work. She couldn't even access a soundboard anyway. And I'm really curious here because Mounce's mic is off. Like, is he cracking up right now? Does he have a heart attack? Is he hiding? Because
I am dying laughing, but my dog will not stop whining.
That's because she's hearing the barnyard animals.
It's probably it. But like I can't.
Or the baby crying.
She never does that. I don't know why all of a sudden she's doing that.
Teaghan's making her go into heat. What?
She got unfixed.
Yeah.
All right.
Two puppies just came out.
Wags would have thrown her fallopian tube back.
Right. How does one develop that talent, Teaghan? Like, how does that?
I have no idea.
How do you discover that that's a possibility?
Right. How did you figure it out one day?
I've been doing it for so long, I don't even remember when I started doing it. So I don't even have like this cool backstory or anything. I've just always been able to do it.
I just get this image like you went to sneeze and the sneeze messed up somehow and that sound came out and you're like, whoa.
I can do
That's
this.
Weird. Let me try to recreate that. Like, it had to be a complete accident because no one says, you know what, I want to see if I can sound like a baby. But I will tell you this. I will tell you this. There's an episode of New Girl, and for those of you that watch the show, Jamie Lee Curtis plays Jess's mother, and she does it. Only she covers her mouth when she does it. And I thought, oh, they just put an an audio clip of baby over it. But now I'm thinking, is this a talent that other people have?
No, I think it's just Teaghan. Like, no, they haven't found Teaghan yet.
Be honest with us. Did you record that for them so that they could dub it over Jamie Lee Curtis's face?
No, I wish. I would have made a lot of money.
That was my next question. Can you do voices? Like, do you? No. So you can't be like, oh, do like, I don't know, Papa Smurf or something. Like, you can't just, like, you couldn't do cartoon work and stuff?
I'm too critical of my voices, so I don't even try anymore because I don't feel like they're adequate, so I just stopped. Gotcha. I haven't tried them in 10 years.
But if you can't find a baby or make a baby cry, and you need that for your show or movie, we have somebody. Call Teaghan.
Give us money.
I'm her agent. I take 10%. But I will put you in touch with her. Or I'll just send you the recording she sent me and keep all the money. That's that plan, actually. So let's the two people that are muted, let's unmute them. And let's have the baby. Let's have the baby sound again. We'll get all of our reactions. So weird. Oh, and it's worse. The sound clip alone was bad, but just being able to see it on Skype is it's so weird.
Oh my god, it's so awesome.
All right, whenever you're ready. I can't the screen.
There goes my picture leaking again. Jesus.
So real.
That's it. I'm leaving my husband and I'm marrying Teaghan.
Wait, but you're my mom.
I-
You're supposed to be adopting me.
Oh, that's right. I adopted Teaghan. Never mind. I can't marry her.
I think we need to keep that soundbite, Jeff, for later use or reference, so that when we do have a moment
to
just drop somebody crying, I think that's going to be gold right there.
I 100% agree. If someone gets out of line on the social medias, if we get threatened to be sewed again.
Sewed. Oh God, I love being threatened to be sewed.
I'll just
that
anytime
sounds right
someone
up my alley.
gives us shit, we'll just send back collectively the sound of a baby crying. But no, it's actually just Teaghan. We, up until now, that is seriously the most useless talent that anybody could, because even like a burp, like I can clear a room, by faking a burp. I'm just, I don't want to deal with anybody, or I'm done talking to someone. I'll just burp in their face and they'll never talk to me again.
Really? Because I get the opposite reaction. People are like, "Oh, you can burp on command? That's so cool."
But she burped on command at the tea finale. You were doing it outside. It was amazing.
It was
amazing.
Can you burp and do the baby crying at the same time?
I don't want to try and throw up.
Fair enough.
A gassy baby. You got to work on that. You could be a baby with a reflux.
Right, like right in the middle of the cry, all of a sudden just let out a burp.
And then stop crying because you feel better. Exactly how babies work.
All right, so I sent everybody an outline. Unfortunately, we have to move on and talk about something that's not as fun or funny in any way, shape, or form, but hopefully we can maybe get a couple laughs out of the garbage that goes on with what we're about to talk about. But the reason, so I sent you guys the outline. Did you guys get a chance to look at the articles?
Yes.
Briefly,
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Robin's lying.
Right. Robin is just doing everything she can to stay awake.
At a red light, when I was driving home, I quickly pulled it up. And here I am.
Great.
Your Grace.
So what sparked this? We're talking about these breed. We're talking about dogs first and foremost, but there's this thing called breed-specific legislation, and now there's something I've learned is that there's over 1,000 cities or counties that have breed-specific legislation, but generally it's geared towards powerful dog breeds that have this stigma that they are predispositioned to being aggressive, right? And we're going to talk about how that's bullshit later on. But what this has led to is, almost like it's like dog racism, right? So
that's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
Right. So these towns and
exactly
counties,
what it is.
These towns and counties make these laws under the guise of it's going to make everybody safer. When science is now proven, and numbers, facts, has proven that dog bites have not decreased; they haven't increased. It's a general, amount of dog bites per year, and all these same people do is get a different dog that ends up biting somebody because there's decades of studies on how often dogs in general bite, right? So a bunch of people get upset about this, or they see the news, or they read the media, or they read propaganda. They get all fucking riled up. They've never owned a dog in their entire life, and they get their legislators, mostly on a local basis, not necessarily a state basis, but on local levels, to pass this breed-specific legislation, which ends up leading to hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of dogs being euthanized. And the most targeted breed is, of course, the Pitbull. And back to what sparked this topic is that recently the city of Denver, which is one of the biggest cities that employ a Pitbull ban, the city council voted 7-4 to lift that ban after 30 years. This is, this would go such a long way to setting a new trend across the country, because what I've learned over the years is that cities and states tend to copy each other once they realize a piece of legislation works. Quite often with taxes, like the first state to impose a gas tax, now all of a sudden almost all 50 states impose a gas tax because it worked to raise revenue. It's the same thing with legislation like this. Now, even though the city council voted 7-4, the mayor of Denver has come out publicly on his fucking Twitter account, because that's the fucking world we live in, that he is going to veto that city council vote. So before we go any further, I just want to get everybody's thoughts on this. And since we have so many people on, let's go one by one. So Leah, without fail, you were ready to jump in. So go ahead, lead us off.
I have a question for you, actually.
Okay.
The mayor of Denver, did he give a full on explanation as to why he wants to veto it?
In what's Twitter now? 240 characters?
Yeah.
No, it was bullshit.
Okay, so
it was here. Let me pull up the article because there is specific quotes. This is a New York Times article about what had happened, but let's see here. Let me see if I can find the quote.
So I actually know the answer, but I think that it kind of goes to my question that he really didn't. But I wanted you to read the quote if you have it, because I think it's kind of important.
It is. Okay, so Mr. Hancock said he remained concerned that the proposed repeal does not fully address the very real risk to severe injury that can result from attacks from these particular dog breeds, especially should they happen to a child. The reality is that irresponsible pet owners continue to be a problem, he wrote, and it is the irresponsible owners and their dogs I must consider in evaluating the overall impact of this ordinance. He also said that he heard from people passionate on both sides.
So that leads into my question. How do you hold people like Mounts and Teaghan? Do you have a pit too, I believe, or you don't?
My sister has one.
Okay. And Jeff, you're pretty sure Allison is somewhat pit.
If we were in the city of Denver, she would be classified as a pit bull.
Right, which is ridiculous. So how do you know when somebody's irresponsible? You don't until they bite. So I do understand that aspect of it. But it's just ridiculous on all sides. I think we're probably going to get into it later, but if you want, instead of just euthanizing a living, breathing, sentient creature, how about maybe making people register the dogs? Or there are other things that you can do to make it that way. And look, I have French bulldogs and a Maltese. My Maltese is the most vicious of all of them. She's 4 pounds soaking wet, but she'll go for your throat. She won't hurt you. But my dog Patton he was never aggressive. He was never mean. He's still extremely docile, but he bit my neighbor one time, and he was picked up from behind, and dogs don't like that. So there's those kind of situations too. So a kid goes and does something that hurts the dog snaps, and then the kid continues to do it. Who's at fault there? The dog or the person that didn't stop the kid? And that's the kind of thing that really bothers me with this. It just feels, let's just say, it's like this stupid, guns don't kill people, people kill people, just on the opposite end of the spectrum. It's just, It's ridiculous.
People without the gun don't kill people, though. That's the problem.
Right, exactly.
I mean? Like, it's very much more difficult anyway. So, so to answer your question, or just to elaborate on what you're saying, I could, if I wanted to go through every single case that ever, any bite that ever happened in the history of the world, I could point the reason to that bite 99% of the time to a human being at fault, plain and simple. But before, we're going to get into that a little bit later on, but let's go to Robin. Your thoughts on the mayor vetoing this bill?
My thoughts are kind of all over the place with this. I think I think BSL in general is bullshit. I've been a big supporter of the bully breeds my entire life. That's all we've had. I was attacked by a dog when I was young.
And you're still an advocate for dog ownership and the bully breed in general.
Absolutely. My parents they're on their second. We've grown up with several dogs. I was maybe 2 or 3 and I had my face just about chewed off by a Doberman, which is considered an aggressive dog. But speaking to Leah's point about, is it, human error if the child and or adult continues the behavior? I think in general that dogs and animals are a product of their environment just as much as children are. So if you constantly terrorize and abuse and do whatever, what's going to happen? The animal's going to react. And then if you go back into the history of the bully breed of pit bulls in general, what they were bred for was a nanny dog. They were bred to take care of children, to watch the family, and to be that constant babysitter support, protector of the family. It's people, the assholes who took advantage of that loyalty and dedication, that completely turned it around. And which is why we're in the situation that we're in, because these dogs went to prove their loyalty and now everybody wants to take advantage of it.
Yep. Great point. Teaghan, you take care of dogs for a living, which is one of the reasons why we want to have you on here. So I'm assuming that through your job, you've dealt with a lot of pit bulls, or a popular, breed or breeds.
I have, and I've been bit in my job. I've been cornered by a growling dog before, and I can tell you, in no point was it a pit bull. The pit bulls have always been the happy, lovey ones.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I've never come across a mean pit bull in my entire life, and
it's always the small dogs.
Well, let's talk a little bit.
Always the ankle biters. Always.
Let's go to Mounts, and then we'll talk a little bit about dog psychology, because I am obsessed with dog psychology. It's fascinating to me. But go ahead, Mounts. Your thoughts, because you own a pit bull,
right?
Who's clearly a pit bull. He's got the blocky head. He's not gigantic. He's not like the pit bull on steroids. He's just like a regular looking 40-pound pit bull, right?
Yeah, 50. He's about 55, but yeah, it's ridiculous. Like the article said, it all comes down to the owner, who owns the dog and who trains. Like, I worked kennels for a long time, and it's like you said, it's the smaller dogs that attack, or like I've never got bitten, but I've never had a problem with any of the larger breed of dogs. That it all comes down to how they're taken care of and trained.
Right. And there's Mounce's pit bull in the background, attacking the smaller dog, eating his children.
Well, and that's
crying. He's crying because he probably wants Mounce to play with it, like right now. That's it.
I'm sure. Yeah. And that was the funny thing. We fostered her first, and at the rescue league, they said that she had gotten attacked by her previous owner, had a pit bull. No, it was just like, long story short, her owner passed away. The owner's mother took the dog and had a pit bull, didn't want her, put them together, and the male pit bull attacked her. And but we said that, she was aggressive towards other dogs, be careful around kids. So we brought our kids out to see her, and she loved the kids, brought her home, loved our Chihuahua. The Chihuahua hates her. But so
Chihuahuas hate everything.
Right.
Yes.
So, because I was like, you're out of your mind. Like, we're not going to take a dog in that hates dog, because we had cats, loves to just chase the cat around, like, loves the kids. And like, the problem is she's so excitable and she's so strong that, like, she bullies over people. You know what I mean? Like, but she's real careful around the kids. But she actually broke a tooth of mine because she headbutted me. Like, just playing. We were playing, and she headbutted me.
And
that all comes down to training.
Mounce asked me to take care of his pit bull, and I said, look, with any dog, it's good that we at least meet together first, so she feels comfortable. And we met one time, and the only time I ever met this dog. And then all of a sudden, for a weekend, I'm walking into her house, getting her out of her cage, and walking her and asking her to do things when she's only met me one time, and she was perfectly fine. I wasn't allowed
to train.
I wasn't allowed to touch the Chihuahua.
She would.
That thing would not let me get anywhere near her, and to the point where she just had to pee in her cage. I had to just change the pee pads instead of actually take her out. She would not let me anywhere near her.
And the only training I've had with the Pitbull was I was trying to train her to bite Jeff when I asked him to help.
Tried his best, failed miserably.
And she attacked him with kisses.
So a little thing about dog psychology is, I would say that almost every single bite that ever happens, obviously there's exceptions to everything, result out of fear, which is why you hear people talking about these Chihuahuas. Dachshunds are notorious because they are smaller dogs and we look way bigger. Even kids look huge to a little dog. They're scared. And the biggest problem here is that people don't teach other people how to approach their dog, or they just let other people approach their dog. Your dog is looking to you for guidance and protection, and your dog generally mirrors you. So if you are nervous, if you are fearful about interactions with people and other dogs, the dog most likely will be as well. If you are confident and you project that confidence, and you know when you can tell when the meeting isn't going to go well, and you avoid those things, your dog will be confident and more likely to get along with other dogs. Then there's the fact that just like people, some dogs just won't get along with each other, even if they're the greatest dog in the entire world, with other dogs. So the people that are like, oh, don't worry about it, my dog loves other dogs. Yeah, but then there's that one time that your dog doesn't like that particular dog. And unlike people, they don't just walk in a different direction, they fight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So again, that's all human controlled. That has nothing to do with the dogs. So the fact of the matter is, I see bites happen because people let their kids walk right up to a strange dog, reach out and start petting it right away. That is the worst way to meet a dog. And 99% of dogs will accept that behavior. You know,
but 1%.
There's a small percentage
of
dogs
you have
that
telltale
back away,
signs.
fearful. Yeah, they'll back away. They're fearful. There's telltale signs. And if you as the owner can't recognize those telltale signs, then again, you are at fault.
You shouldn't have a dog.
And
or if everybody taught their children to ask permission, like, hi, can I pet your dog? My I still ask people. I will be the first one to go up to somebody to ask if I can pet their dog. But if I see another person, I avoid eye contact. So and I teach my children the same thing. You ask and same thing with the service dogs. You cannot acknowledge them. They are working. If they are wearing a vest, if they're wearing some kind of identification, they are being trained or they are working, and you are not allowed to pet them or approach them. So it's very, very simple, but people don't understand that. Just people are assholes.
I do the same exact thing. All of my kids know to ask, and they do the whole put your hand out, let them smell you. If it's a big dog, even a little dog. And back to what Jeff said, there is that 1% of the time, and he's so right about the fear thing. I don't know if I ever talked about it on the show, but we talked about it. I talked about it with Jeff and Andy. I had a Frenchie that passed away last year. We had to put her down, and she was the alpha of the group. And when she died, Molly we had her for a few months, and Patton and Molly were fine. They loved each other. They were totally fine. But Molly started to be the alpha of the group, and Patty was kind of next in line, and he's a male, and they started fighting, and it was to the point where we have to keep them on separate sides of the house. And then Jeff was like, you have to remain calm. And because they would fight, and I couldn't get them apart, like literally couldn't get them apart. There was a point where Molly almost ripped off Patty's ear. It was bad. But the next time it happened, I remained calm and was able to separate them with the tone of my voice. Now, that's the other thing too. I made the mistake of getting in the middle of it, and I got bit. That was my fault.
Well, so that's a point right there. A lot of bites, if they're not out of fear, are people trying to separate a bad encounter with another dog, and it's their own fucking dog that ends up biting them.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly
Rocco got bit. Rocco got got bit by. I had 2 pit bulls, 2 females, and females will fight to the death. And common misperception: pit bulls do not have lock jaws. Their jaws do not lock down. It is the pounds per square inch when they do that. And anyway, so I had the 2 dogs that were fighting constantly, and my puppy was trying to be the alpha. I actually brought in a dog trainer who came into the house and showed us signs. And I've been working with dogs my whole life. I've worked with several rescues. I was actually stealing dogs from, piss poor situations. I dodged a bullet here or there. And and then I got out of it because it was really scary. But I brought in a dog trainer who came into my home to show us, like, the puppy was cute, was sitting on Faith's head. And Faith was every bit of 80, 90 pounds. And the puppy was sitting on her head. Oh, look at how cute, how cute. No, that was the puppy asserting her dominance. That's me stepping on your foot, Right. So it was one of those. And long story short, the dogs fought and fought and fought. And then Rocco got scratched in the face. He ended up getting stitches. I did not, let's put the dog out immediately. I can't handle it. It's, it's her fault. No, it's not her fault. It's not Rocco's fault. Both of them were at fault. And it's the dogs, and Rocco just was 3 years old and, happened to walk by and got scratched and got clipped. But those dogs were, they were assholes. We can admit when our dogs are assholes, but, it's one of those, they react out of fear, or like Leah said, if you're just a casualty of what's happening between the 2 of them.
Right. And the other part of this is accidents will happen. There's no doubt about that. You can't legislate an accidental dog biting out of the existence. You just can't do it.
Right.
But I'm interested in Teaghan's take on this. You meet new dogs all the time. Some of them young, some of them old, some of them set in their ways, some of them friendly, some of them not so friendly. So, what do you see on this? Are you in agreement that most times people getting bit is their own fault or the fault of the owner?
Oh, completely. But at the same time, like you said, you met Mounts' dog beforehand. With my job, we don't always get that. So we're coming in as a stranger to their home and everything. And we always have to be like watching for the signs and everything, just in case this dog isn't friendly.
Yeah.
But the
onus is on the owner there. Like, if I'm as a dog owner, if I know that my dog is not going to be comfortable with someone coming in like that, I would never allow that situation to even manifest.
So a lot of times the owners don't realize it, because I've been to it where I've met the dog beforehand and the dog loves me. The owner's there. It's great. But when I come on my own, it's a completely different dog. And I have to take the time to gain that friendliness back. And that's a big part. Like, you need to have the patience to be able to take the time with the dog to gain the dog's trust. Especially if it's a fearful dog, you can't just rush up to the dog. You have to let the dog come to you. The one time I did get bit, it was because I had to, for the dog's safety, I had to grab the dog by its harness, and it fearfully reached around and bit me. But I had to just take that bite for the dog's safety. I couldn't let go.
And it was a warning bite. It wasn't a mauling bite, correct?
It punctured skin.
Right, but he wasn't going to attack you. He was reacting.
It was
he was
kind of
reacting
just
to
like
a situation that he was unsure.
Like one bite, like a nip.
Right, it was a bite, and he wasn't continuing to attack you.
Yeah. And it was a good thing it was me and not somebody else, because I can recognize that this is a fearful dog. He's not doing it because he's aggressive or anything. He's doing it because he was scared.
And maybe he was working. You come to his house, outside it's free game. But if he's there to protect his home and then you're coming in, that's another reaction where, or it could have been a dog that has been in and out of the system and in and out of several different homes, and now thinking, great, here we go again. It's time to pack my shit. There's a million different reasons.
Yeah. But so this asshole in Denver vetoes a city council ordinance, vote to remove this ordinance or law. And they said, the good thing is they said they're going to fight to have it put on the ballot, the next ballot in the election coming up here. So hopefully the people, vote to overturn this. But the fact of the matter is, any dog can bite. Any dog can bite. And if you provoke a dog long enough, hard enough, if you abuse a dog, 100% of them will eventually bite. But the fact is, over tens of thousands of years, human beings have bred them to put up with so much from human beings, to love them no matter what, which is just proven by the Michael Vick dogs that were brutally tortured.
Oh my God.
And they were rehabbed and sent to homes, and they're with families now, thriving.
And therapy dogs. There are some that are therapy dogs.
Right.
Therapy dogs, yeah.
Now, I wouldn't recommend, adopting, a Vic dog with, toddlers who are going to poke in its eye and pull its tail and shit. But, a responsible, well-educated dog owner would be able to live with one of those.
Yeah, we tried. My family tried to get one of those.
Yeah. So
my next door neighbor has. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to say my next door neighbor has this large American bulldog, and his name is Bubba. He's the sweetest, most kind thing. He lets my son. He actually likes it when Enzo rides him like a horse when he was really little. Greatest dog ever. But he was a bait dog. They think they're not sure because they get rescued.
Like Mumford?
Mumford?
JVC's Mumford, who was
yes.
Dog napped for dog fighting ring.
Mumford's an OG now. He's running the mean streets of Delaware.
He's in the
He's an OG.
Mumford came from Compton.
He's an OPUG. And Bubba's just the sweetest thing in the world. And when I tell you he couldn't harm a fly, he literally couldn't. I don't think it's in his bloodstream. And he's just so sweet and kind. And the thing I don't get too is why specifically pit bulls? I would love to see proof. Okay. I want proof that pit bulls have harmed people more than any other breed. My parents have English bulldogs, and Sarge used to literally bite onto this huge branch in this old tree that they have in their yard and swing. If that dog bit somebody, he would kill them without a doubt. Nobody's complaining about them. Why pit bulls? I still don't get why.
Well, the lady in the UK
we're gonna get into
got
it
her. Yeah, the lady in the UK who got her face chewed off was
Right.
done by a lab, not
Right.
a pit.
That's my point.
But you always hear about pit bull attacks, always.
Well, they've been glamorized on both sides, so they turn out to, they're used for these dog fighting rings and everything like that. So naturally, because they're good at fighting, people start to assume that they're predispositioned for this type of thing, and there's a reason why they were chosen for the dog fighting circuit. But then also irresponsible dog owners that think it's trendy, that just want a dog because it looks cool, end up getting these things, and their apartments don't allow them there, or they don't take care of them properly. And again, this could happen with any dog, but when you're dealing with a powerful animal and you're not willing to put the effort into training it, and all of a sudden it becomes a problem animal, the first thing you're going to do is turn it into a shelter. Now someone else who loves the idea of adopting instead of paying $1 million for a new puppy, goes out and adopts, and maybe that animal is very good, but you still just don't know the history necessarily or what's good. So you're taking a risk. There's no doubt about that. You got kids and stuff. But anyway, again, all filters back to the owner, which we're going to really harp on here in a little bit. But why pit bulls? So there's a million reasons, but the fact of the matter is they look intimidating, right? Especially when you start cropping their ears and shit. They're all muscle, they are all muscle. And there's more myth than fact about pit bulls circulating. So a lot of people are like, well, why are you focusing just on pit bulls? The fact of the matter is pit bulls are the most discriminated dog in the entire world.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're talking about pit bulls specifically, and not German shepherds and bull mastiffs and the other powerful breeds, Rottweilers, also great family dogs, but and with many of the same issues. But in reading through this article, right, from the New York Times, I come across either an advertisement or a mention of this website called National Pitbull Victim Awareness. It's the second article, the second link in the outline. And I've read through this before, earlier today, and everything on here is such fucking bullshit. And starting with this map, right? So they have this map where you can click on it.
I'm going to go click on it right now.
I'm right there.
Right.
I'm on my phone, so I can't. So you guys, somebody share your screen so I can see it.
Well, it's this.
I saw it earlier.
It's this interactive map.
Oh, okay. I
Right?
do know what it is. Yeah. Okay.
Where you can look at attacks. So it gives you a map of attacks.
See the
right?
bands by state.
You can see that too.
It's the best way to explain it. It's kind of like the sex offender registry for dogs.
Almost, but when you click on the things, it doesn't take you to anything. It doesn't take you any proof. It doesn't take you any details. Right. So someone just looking at this map and the one I'm looking at right now is for 2020. They're seeing like, here's a number 7, 5, 4, 4, 5, 3. This is all in like the eastern part of the state. Out west, you see 2, 4, 2, right? Someone just glancing at this map who's not actually doing their research on a breed or wanting to is thinking, oh my gosh, these are all pit bull attacks in 2020.
Yeah, you're right. They could be Chihuahua attacks for all we know.
Right off the bat, or no attack. Like it's such a poorly put together website to begin with.
Just
but it's purposely
being a hater.
It's purposely misleading. So, and the title, National Pitbull Victim Awareness. Like, look, if your kid gets mauled by any dog, I'm going to feel bad for the kid. But the fact of the matter is, chances are, it was the parents' fault. Right. And they're the ones that should be fined or go to jail or put on a list where they're not allowed to have fucking kids anymore. It's not the dog's fucking fault. And and if it's the owner's fault, they should be held accountable. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
That's why we have insurance. But the first button on that page is a donate button.
Yeah, donate
Who
to
are you donating to?
Right.
You're donating to high kill shelters, I guess, probably.
So there's also like articles that are dedicated to medical studies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're talking about specifically just the, articles that are showing that compared with other dog breeds, pit bull terriers inflicted more complex wounds, were often unprovoked, and all this bullshit. First of all, again, if you're dealing with a powerful breed, obviously, if there is an attack, it's going to be worse. Right?
Right, of course. Naturally.
And there's so many different modified breeds of the pit bull terrier. Everybody's so quick to label it because it may look a certain way. And, are different types of the bully breeds. So everybody gets thrown into the pit bull category. Like Allison, you're Allison. And I could say she looks nothing like mine. Mine has your traditional big cinder block head. She's stocky and wide and muscular across the chest. And Allison is a little tiny peanut, but that they're both labeled as pits. So, all these different modifications, whatever.
So there's all these articles that say, out of all the bites that take place in any given year, anywhere between 50 and 65% are from pit bulls. So when people hear that obviously that scares them. But like Robin said, when you do a little bit of research, there's over 30 breeds that are classified as pit bulls. There's 4 major ones, like that you've probably heard: the American Pit Bull Terrier, the American Staffordshire Terrier, the bully breeds. There's major ones that everybody's familiar with, but there's also 26 other ones, and that might be a low estimate. That's like up to, there could be more than that people are considering pit bulls. So they're counting every single attack within those 30 breeds, whereas a golden retriever doesn't get lumped in with a golden doodle.
Very true. That's so true. Oh my God, that's a really good point.
So if you break up the attacks by actual type, breed instead of type of dog, the pit bulls are, if not way less than other breeds, right in line with everything else.
You also got to take into account the bites that are being reported. Like Leah said, her littlest would attack you in a second, but he's not going to do anything. Like,
I was just going to make that point.
Smaller breeds are more likely to attack you, but their attack is less, so they're not getting reported as much. Even though I know for a fact that they're the ones that are most likely to come at me than the larger ones.
Right, but you're going to kick it aside and move on.
Right.
I was just going to say,
kick
fuck
the
small
dog.
dogs. I hope I don't
You just
step on
pick
it.
it up.
And, I think there are people that, like in my case, I got bit in my leg by Patton, my own dog. And like I said, he had bit my neighbor about a year beforehand's son. And they took him to the ER. He needed a couple butterfly stitches. I probably needed stitches, but I was afraid to go because I was told that if it came up that, like, okay, he bit my neighbor and he bit me within a certain amount of time, that they would have, like, I would have had to have put him down. That there are laws about that. That if the dog is reported more than once. So I was like, who cares if I have a scar on my leg? I already have tons of them. I'm not going to risk having to kill my dog because I got in the middle of a fight. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I've been looking for articles more recently about dog bite information, and I found one from livescience.com from September 26, 2011. But a very interesting factoid here. It says unsupervised newborn babies are 370% or 370 times more likely to be killed by a dog than an adult.
wow, sleeping newborns?
Like unsupervised newborn babies. But like, how do you
wait a
like,
minute? Say that again.
It says unsupervised newborn babies are 370 times more likely to be killed by a dog than an adult. How do you even figure that statistic out?
Who sponsors that type of?
Like, it's like, let's put a newborn baby sleeping unsupervised and an adult in a room and let a dog loose and see who gets killed first.
So still on this site.
I'm a little delayed, but oh my god.
But all the rest of the percentages, like the facts are so, it's like 92% of fatal dog attacks involved male dogs. It's all like generic information.
I think that's false because bitches fight to the death.
Yeah.
Every female dog that I've rescued, that I've been a part of rescuing, that I have jumped over fences, crawled through the snow, ran with a broken foot, and tried to avoid getting shot. Fucking bitches. The females.
Yeah.
Are nasty.
They're more protective too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was attacked by several females.
Not according to livescience.com.
Well, I didn't. I'm going to go report all my attacks and tell my parents about the time my face got chewed off. And I'm pretty sure that was a female. And that will help offset that from 2011. So we'll be good.
All right.
Robin's going to go fuck with some shit now.
I'm on a war path. I mean, a horde path. I mean, a war path.
So let me just read through one of the sections on this, and if you want to go and listen, people since we've been talking about this through the White Horse Network, people have been asking, what can they do to help? Where can they donate? And we'll talk about that a little bit too. But if you want to go and blow, and if you just want to fucking troll a company or an organization, this National Pitbull Victim Awareness, Google it. So here's one other thing where they talk about the scope of the issues, right? And here are their headlines. Pit bulls are a danger to people. U.S. have reached an epidemic level, increasing 773% from 2007 to 2014.
What?
Yeah, that's bullshit.
What?
Untrue. Pit bulls are dangerous to families. You're telling me all 30 breeds of this dog are dangerous to families. Michael Vick's high-profile trial for dogfighting and cruelty to animals in 2007 roused a growing sympathy for pit bulls. Get the fuck out of here. That's the opening line of this little paragraph.
There should be sympathy for pit bulls. You should feel bad for them.
Pit bulls are not suitable family dogs. A study of fatal dog attacks between 1990 and 2007 found that 85% of pit bull victims were children. That is so misleading because I would imagine that 85% of all dog bites
are children.
Because they're assholes. They poke the dogs in the eyes. They grab them by the face. They hug and squeeze them too tight. They pull their tails. And asshole parents are like, the first time that they get away with this are like, oh, my dog's good. So they stop watching them. They relax a little bit. That's your fault as a parent, not the dogs, especially not the pit bulls. It has nothing to do with the breed. The pit bulls don't know they're pit bulls. That's what we named them. Pit bulls are a community issue. Pit bulls are a community issue that affect the right of public to use the streets, sidewalks, and laneways. Were you asking why are pit bulls targeted? This is the bullshit propaganda that's out there. Pit bulls are dangerous to pets and companion animals. Pit bulls are dangerous to farm
Uneducated
animals.
people are dangerous.
Absolutely.
That's what they are.
Pit bulls are a healthcare issue. Please stop it. Pit bull attacks are a costly healthcare issue. In 2013, about 27,000 people in the United States underwent reconstructive surgery after a dog attack. About 800,000 bite victims a year? What?
I didn't have reconstructive surgery. I had just had my face sewn back together by a stupidest Doberman pincher that bit me because I was left unattended. I don't know, 1, 2 years old. I crawled under the table to like fuck with this dog after I was told to leave it alone. And what happened? My face is on the floor.
Right.
It didn't stop me. I'm still getting in every dog's face. I bite back.
Pit bulls are a police and paramedics issue. Oh God, I'd love to see that. Pit bulls are a legislation issue.
How about the canines that are the pits that are coming out as canine dogs now, working with the
awesome.
sheriffs?
That's awesome. Those are my favorite stories.
Yeah, there needs to be more celebration of that, more recognition for that. That's great news.
Yep, absolutely. I hope we see more departments doing that because they are incredibly smart. There's no doubt about that.
It's what they were bred for. They're people pleasers. They do to please people.
Listen to these two. Pit bulls are a service dog issue. Now they're claiming that pit bulls are a danger to all service dogs. Pit bulls are a journalism issue. What the fuck does that even mean? This site is fucking ridiculous. So if you want to help, you work to get shit like this shut down. Just flood their inbox, flood their comments, anything you can find on them.
Just don't donate.
Expose them. And don't donate. Well,
I
can't imagine any dog lover would
shelter.
Okay, so we're going to go on to another article here. This one gets me just as fucking fired up.
I think I'm calming down. I'm just like, ooh, here for the party. Just hanging out with my eyes shut.
There is... you definitely want to fall asleep again.
No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm sitting up. Right now, I'm sitting up just leaning.
So Mounts pointed out that this is maybe not a credible site right off the bat. Creditdonkey.com, Pitbull statistics. However,
you got a wormhole of shit that I have to pay for now.
Listen.
That sounds amazing.
I agree. It might not be a reputable site, but the fact of the matter is they're going against or they're going with a lot of the other statistics that you see in the world, right? So what their argument is that studies show that pit bulls are not more aggressive than many other dog breeds, right? So are pit bulls naturally aggressive? That's the question. They're talking about a temperament passing rate. So this is studied. They do a temperament rating of all dog breeds recognized by the American, Kennel Association, whatever, and pit bulls are like right in the middle. Like their temperament is better than beagles, border collies, chihuahuas.
Fucking chihuahuas. I really want one, but I just
no, don't
dress it up.
I love my chihuahua. She's an asshole and she hates everybody.
I do want one.
But just
so
like pit bulls, you can't judge all chihuahuas by that. I've met some really sweet, cuddly chihuahuas.
That's true.
Right.
I've never met a single one.
Little apple head, like one that has like fluid on its brain, or there's like little fucked up ones. That's what I want. That would just love me like so much.
I mean, probably be fair, I'd love any dog that came into my house, but
yeah. To be fair,
Do pit bulls have the strongest bite force? Robin brought this up. A bite force study conducted by National Geographic concluded that the Pitbull had the smallest bite force compared to any other bully breed dogs. On average, a domestic dog had a bite force of 320 pounds of pressure. As a frame of reference, humans have a bite force of 120 pounds of pressure. Pitbulls are consistently right in the middle at like 230.
That's interesting.
Isn't it the lab has the highest?
Higher than Pitbulls, yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I think like the Cane Corso is above that.
Which they are beautiful dogs as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful.
They definitely are. I fostered
is that what
one.
Amanda has?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do Pitbulls have a locking jaw? The answer is no.
No, they
but
don't.
Again, you'll find that all over the last.
That's because they
don't
don't let go. It's not locked.
Yeah.
It's just that's like Leah's dog's parents swinging on a tree. The wide jaw, they chomp down, but they're not. It's not lockjaw. They can let go. They just choose not to.
Yeah. Well, look, my Frenchton had her ear or had her jaw. She was a puppy. It wasn't a year. Latched on the Patton's ear, and my husband and myself could not open her jaw. If a dog doesn't want to let go, it's not going to let go. You know what I mean?
You see that a lot with police dogs. The owner has to tell them to release. They'll hold on until they're told to release.
Right.
This website, Pet Finder, says one personality trait for the myth of the lockjaw. One personality trait of a pit bull is determination and enthusiasm. When they bite down on something and they're determined not to release it. So,
what is a top breed regarding aggression towards humans? Dachshunds and Chihuahuas. Dachshunds too, yeah. I hear that a lot. Here's interesting too. In injuries and fatalities from dog attacks. How many people die from a pit bull attack? From 1982 to December 31st, 2017, there were 389 reported or made public deaths from a pit bull attack. You know how small of a percentage? Well, that would be 0.
Oh.
Are pit bulls the only type of dog to cause fatalities? And there's 12 different dog breeds that have caused fatalities in just 2017 alone. Akita, Border Mix, German Shepherds are the big ones.
Akitas are assholes.
I was gonna say, and so are what are the big furry saggy ones? Not a Sherpa. What is it called? It starts with an S. A Shar-Pei.
Yeah, they can be mean.
They are fucking feisty as hell, and they're mad because they look the way they look. I get it, but they're nasty.
How about this? How often do dog bites cause little to no injury? 81% of the time.
See, Leah was fine. She just put some glue in her leg, put a Band-Aid on, and kept it moving.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did.
So, there's so much misinformation out there, but if you do a little and use some common sense, right? So this last website that I want to bring up it's pretty easy. It's very easy on the eyes to kind of follow some of the information, and they just talk about some certain myths and things like that. They found a lot of interesting things on here. The first one being, if you scroll down a little bit past the picture and the first paragraph or two, quote starts off with, in order to look at any issue objectively, you have to first define the terms and the parameters you are working with. You have to make sure you're comparing apples to apples, and more importantly, that you even know what an apple is when you see one. So the question they propose here in doing studies like this: A, what is the statistic? B, what is a pit bull? C, how are pit bulls identified? So to answer the question, what is a statistic? A calculated numerical value that characterizes some aspect of a sample set of data, and that is often meant to estimate the true value of a corresponding parameter in an underlying population. I know that's true because I just had flashbacks and nightmares regarding science class in high school. That's exactly what they told us how they measure statistics. What is a pit bull? It is commonly accepted that pit bull is not a breed, but a loosely defined and general category. Definition of this category varies depending upon the source. Any blocky-headed dog or any mix of breeds that is between 35 and 100 pounds and upwards of 30 individual dog breeds may currently fall in this broad category. through the use of visual breed identification. So how are pit bulls identified? Visual breed identification, or the extremely scientific, insert sarcasm, process of tilting your head 30 degrees to the right or left and guessing based on a few basic traits that the inability to automatically identify the dog as something else is how pit bulls are identified.
So
That
when
is
you close
true.
one eye,
Right.
Look through one eye just to make sure you're looking right.
So people will identify a pit bull mean or, as a pit bull just because they don't know what it is. Based upon the observation of a handful of variable breed-associated physical traits such as coat, color, body size, skull shape, and whether the ears are erect or floppy, these physical traits are found in many different breeds and are controlled by approximately 50 of the roughly 20,000 genes that create a dog. And then the author of this website says we could stop right at this point. In order for a number to be a statistic, it has to estimate a true value of specific data. The data has to be definable, and the parameters have to be clear. Then this guy, this piece of shit who I've never heard of before, Merritt Clifton, I guess who maybe ran one of these studies, these misleading studies, is quoted as saying, "Please note that I do not participate in the Kennel Club breed name game, where some breed is in fact a Mastiff Pit Bull mix, such as the Bull Mastiff or the Cane Corso. I list it as a Pit Bull type dog pit mix. Please note that I'm counting deaths by Pit Bull pit mix attack, whether or not cars killed the targets before the Pit Bulls could bite them to death. The two children who ran into traffic would have been alive today if the Pit Bulls hadn't initiated an attack on them." You think this guy is biased at all? So he goes on. Right. So if you aren't going to play the breed name game to make the numbers up, then you can't use those same numbers to play this breed blame game either. But let's pretend that all validity wasn't thrown out the window just yet. Where do these numbers come from, if at all? And then there's this picture of Journalist Guide to Pit Bull Identification. There's a picture of an actual pit bull. There's a picture of a German Shepherd with pit bull underneath. There's a picture of Bambi with pit bull underneath. A Doberman, pit bull, a pickup truck, pit bull. So the joke is, again, anything can be a pit bull.
Right.
Dog bite statistics are based off of media reports found online where pit bull type attacks are proven to be reported thousands of times more often than dog bite stories involving other breeds. Hardly a scientific, objective, or accurate way to collect information, and in fact, there is proven bias over reporting when it comes to dogs labeled as pit bulls. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we apply this logic elsewhere, the argument would sound something like this. Domestic U.S.-made vehicles are unsafe for the public and should be banned because there are more Dodge, Jeep, Ford, Chevy, and Lincoln crashes each year in the U.S. compared to Honda crashes. Does that make sense to everybody? What they've, I know that was a lot coming together there, but it makes 100% sense,
Don't
right?
hate on my Jeep.
No one's hating on your Jeep. But your Jeep is classified as an American car, and together, combined, American cars cause more deaths than Honda alone by itself.
I know, Jeff, that you said you don't want to get political on the show, and I'm not going to get too political here, but you running through those stats really made me think about something. And I know that Colorado has really kind of loose gun laws. And just so everybody knows, and I can only find for 2016, I don't know why, but there were 136 deaths by handguns or firearms in the city of Denver in 2016. And that does not include injuries, accidental deaths, or suicide. That's just homicide, straight up, 136. How many people were killed I want to know how many people were killed or seriously injured by a pit bull.
Well, for over like 30 years, it was 359.
In 1 year, that's 100, that's half of, and those were people that died. So think about that. What's more important? I mean, it just makes me feel like the legislators are just ridiculous. They're clearly just pandering with this. They look like heroes. They look like they're being protecting the people. Meanwhile, they won't do anything about stuff that's actually
killing people. Right. Well, let's look at what's actually killing people. Let's look at some hard numbers here. In 2014, the U.S. National Safety Council showed that your chances of dying by a dog bite in general, not pit bull bite, dog bite in general, are 1 in 116,448. That's just a number, though. To put that number into perspective, your chances of dying by legal execution, that means you have to commit a crime that is punishable by death in a state that employs capital punishment, are pretty similar at 1 in 127,717. You are, in fact, twice as likely to die by a hornet, bee, or wasp sting than a dog. 1 in 55,764. These laws are garbage.
Mm-hmm. It's pandering. It's pandering to the public to make themselves look like they're trying to keep you safe. It's playing on fear. And they don't want to talk about things that are really important. So let's just kill dogs because dogs don't matter.
So let's run these numbers. Heart disease and cancer, you are 1 in 7 likely to die. Chronic lower respiratory disease, 1 in 28. Intentional self-harm, 1 in 100. Unintentional poisoning by exposure to noxious substances, 1 in 109.
Oh my God.
You're more likely to accidentally poison your fucking dumbass self than get bit by a dog.
By accident.
Let alone die from one. Motor vehicle instance, 1 in 112. Falls, 1 in 144. You are more likely to trip over your own 2 feet, down the steps, break your neck, and die than get bit by a dog.
Sidebar, that's totally
that would be
how
me.
I'm gonna die.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Assault by firearm, 1 in 358. That means a person assaults you with their firearm, and why I outline that. You'll see why later on. Car occupant. That means you're not driving. 1 in 470. Pedestrian. 1 in 704. You're more likely to get hit by a car as a pedestrian. Motorcycle rider. 1 in 911. Accidental drowning and submission. You are more likely to accidentally drown yourself. 1 in 1,113 than die by a dog bite. Exposure to fire, flames, and smoke. 1 in 1,442. Choking from inhalation and ingestion of food. 1 in 3,375. You are more likely to die from choking on a hot dog than an actual dog.
Oh my God.
On a bike.
There goes some people's careers.
Right. Accidental firearms discharge, exposure to excessive natural heat. Cataclysmic storm. You are more likely to die getting swept up by a tornado. This is my favorite one. Air and space transport incidents. 1 in 8,015. You are more likely to die on your way to space.
To the moon.
Right. You have a better chance in a room with untrained, unknown pit bulls. Exposure to electrical current. Radiation, temperature, and pressure, 1 in 12,220. Contact with sharp objects. You are more likely to run accidentally into a sharp object than die by a bite of a dog, let alone a pit bull.
That's my
contact
everyday.
with hornets, right? Wasps and contact with heat and hot substances. You are more likely to die from using icy hot. That's what I get from that. And finally, after all that, bitten or struck by a dog, 1 in 116,448, legal execution, and then lightning, 1 in 1,000 or 164,968.
So it's third to lightning. Your chances of getting bit by dying from a dog bite is only slightly more reasonable than getting struck by lightning.
So let's
break
this down.
Say if the dogs are rabid, like, are you getting bit in your jugular and you're bleeding out, or are you getting bit by a rabid dog?
That all goes into play.
It doesn't say that specifically, but these numbers are from the National Safety Council, right? And this is 2015, so I guess things could have changed. It could have moved up and down on that list. I'm guessing somewhere. But look, let's break this down even further. So now that we know that there's 30 different actual breeds that are considered pit bulls, if we break up just death bites, bites by death, and it's just specific breeds within the Pitbull type, they're all less than lightning. You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than killed by a specific Pitbull type or breed.
Insane.
Because if you break up, if you have X amount of bites spread over 30 different breeds of dog that are grouped into one thing, if you spread those bites out, they fall way down on the list. Now we're talking German Shepherds, Dobermans, others that are responsible for fatal bites more so than pit bulls if they're being judged fairly, which clearly they're not. There's no way that you can argue that these laws are justified, knowing that now that there's 30 different breeds that are categorized in one group of dogs, and there's no other dog breed that's treated like that.
No, and it dictates where you live as well with the BSL. There are certain places that you can't go and buy a townhouse or a condo or live in an HOA area if you have a pit bull. And that's in my area. I see that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's definitely true. It's definitely true.
I want to know how, he talks about the American Kennel Society and everything, and how you can't go by that. But if pit bulls are so ferocious and everything, why are they on TV? Why are they in the dog shows? Wouldn't they be attacking everyone if they were so vicious? And then you also get to see the different categories. What actually is what? Like
a bull terrier.
We
just had one of those that was on the Westminster AKC, whatever one that was from this area, or that little cutie patootie dog. I can't.
This issue makes me so angry. Go ahead.
Did you happen to watch anybody John Oliver this week tonight with John Oliver?
I didn't know.
Or last week tonight. You all need to go when this is over. Just watch the very end. You know how at the end they always do and now this? It's about the Westminster dog kennel thing. And it's just this one picture of a poodle's asshole. And it's like somebody said, they're like, it's somebody's job to send footage from the kennel show to news outlets. And that person fucked up. Constant of the dog putting its ass up right into the camera. It's hilarious. We were dying last night.
Man, I can't wait to be able to have a team like his where they just scour the internet for shit like that.
I know.
It's so brilliant. He's funny.
Really
but anyway, we're running on 2 hours here, of course. And so I want to wrap up this part of the show because we still have the end of the show to do. But look, this infuriates me so much because the result of this, and I guess it took an hour to get here to the end, but the results, the consequences of these laws are actually real. So, what takes place in Denver if your dog gets out, by accident, and it's picked up by animal control, it's euthanized immediately. It's a family pet that gets euthanized immediately. The dogs that get brought in, even if they're not known to be a family pet, are euthanized immediately. There's these pictures going around of just piles of dead euthanized dogs and puppies, and it's so disgusting and unbelievable that it breaks your heart. And it's not just Denver. There's 1,000 cities and counties that have bans similar to this in place, where you could move somewhere and not even realize it. That's true, even without the bans.
What pissed me off with Denver, because I did a little more searching into the article with the mayor, he said only 20% of the dogs in Denver are actually registered. First off, how did you get that number? Secondly, if it's really that low, why aren't you doing anything about it?
Right.
You're so worried about these pit bulls. Why aren't you worried about the dogs that are just running around unlicensed, unregistered, or anything? My dog has a lifetime license, completely registered to me. If I move, I have to re-register her, or I get in trouble in the state of Pennsylvania.
Right.
So why aren't they holding all these people accountable? You're saying there's all these irresponsible owners. Hold them accountable. 80%, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
his failure to not recognize the fact that now with 30, 50 years of pit bull bans in place, the studies show that it doesn't actually reduce dog bites at all. So it's not keeping people safer. So he fails to acknowledge that. And this is a huge setback because, again, a city like Denver, being progressive on this issue would trickle down to smaller counties, smaller cities, because it's fear mongering from groups like the American Pitbull Advocates. Like, so they have a name that makes you think, oh, they're out for the victims. They don't even talk about the victims that often. It is a hatred for pit bulls based on propaganda, misunderstanding, and fear. They don't give a shit about any victim. They care about. They're using those donations that they're taking to come up with legislation and lobby for legislation banning pit bulls. That's where your money's going when you donate to. So if you truly hate pit bulls and you want to see them gone, you should invest in. You should give your money to places that offer free spay and neuter. If you really want to see the breed gone, that's what you should do. Your money's well spent. Much better spent there.
Track down people who are running pit bull puppy mills. That's right. What you do. Get them in trouble. Go after them. Don't go after the innocent animal.
That's where the legislation should go. Is banning these fucking puppy mills, forcing like California did, forcing pet stores to only offer shelter dogs.
Yeah. I love that law that pet stores don't exist. I think I told the story all the time. I always want to adopt, but there's this pet store by us. It's called Tom's Pet Outlet. It's off Trooper Road in West Norton area, I guess, Audubon. And they are infamous for being just horrible there. And I went to get dog food on my way home from Walmart, and I saw Molly, and I kept going back and thinking, no, I'm not going to do this. And then I watched the guy in the pet store slap her in one of those bins with other dogs, and she went flying into a wall, and I picked her up immediately and bought her. And that is repulsive. Like, Jeff and I have a mutual friend, Danny, who we've talked about, and Helena. Both of their Yorkies are from this pet store, and one of them had such a horrible problem. He had no joints in his bones because he was from a puppy mill, and they're infamous for doing that. They go through these puppy mills all over the place, and they take these dogs and they hire people who just hit the dog if the dog nips at them. It's almost like it's just as cruel as everything else. I agree with you shouldn't, feed into that because pet stores are part of the problem. But then at the same time, I couldn't let that dog stay there. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a shame because those dogs need homes too.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said it much better than I did. That's exactly the truth. And if they would just stop allowing there to be so much money made in the dog industry like that, owning a pet store, it's probably, they have to be millionaires, and they're selling these dogs for the cheapest ones there are $1,000 sometimes, so $750. So if that were cut back on, you would not have these problems because you would get people going through breeders or going to shelters and adopting from responsible people, and the breeder can say, I'm not going to adopt you. I'm not going to adopt to you. Any asshole can walk into a pet store and get an animal, right?
Well, here's the other thing. Here's real quick, and then we'll do our final thoughts on this, and we'll get to the end of the show, which you ladies are welcome to stay for if you like, but you don't have to. But real quick, one way to tell a reputable rescue and also a reputable breeder is they will make you sign a contract saying that if you are going to give up the dog, you have to give it up back to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I signed one of those for my Frenchies. Yep, that's exactly what you do.
And you can ask to see where the dogs are housed as well.
Yes, you can do that, and you should do that. You should do that. Absolutely.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that, yes. But even so, if they're not willing to take the dog back, if it doesn't work out, then you know that they're not on the up and up, plain and simple. Okay.
Right.
That's
so
just for profit.
Yeah. Final thoughts on this. They should care about the dog, plain and simple. But final thoughts on this. Let's start with Teaghan. What are your final thoughts? What do you have to say to the people out there listening that maybe aren't familiar with the issue as much as a Pitbull advocate would be?
My final thought is any dog can be aggressive. Any dog can be nice. An aggressive dog can turn nice with the right owner, the right patience. Dogs aren't just something like a toy that you can just toss away. It is a forever thing. And if you don't want to work with the dog, then you shouldn't have it. It's all about socialization. Like, that's a big thing, is socialization. You can't just get a dog, keep in your house, and then expect it to be friendly with everyone coming in when it's never seen anybody besides you for a year. So if you're going to get a dog, do your research, take classes. There are classes out there of how to train and everything. And think of it as a lifelong commitment, like your child.
That's so true.
It's great advice. Mounts, final thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's a people problem more than a dog problem.
Across the board, too.
100%.
It's the reason why kids and adults get bit. It's the reason, the lack of education, the ignorance behind these laws. It's all a people problem. You're right. Sorry, did you have more?
No, that was it. That was perfect.
Robin, final thoughts on this? Robin is an animal advocate in general. She would be saying the same thing about snakes, rats, opossums, skunks.
I actually did a Facebook memory today. It was 2 years ago today that I had a pig.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
They're awesome too.
Yeah. So I love animals more than people. Put me in a room of 100 pit bulls, and I'm fine. Put me in a room with 3 people, and I'm like poisoning myself trying to get out. But final thoughts, do your research, just like everybody else said, spend time, go to local shelters. You don't have to leave with an animal. Go and spend time with them. Take them for a walk, volunteer. Look into local charities and organizations where you are. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Pinups for Pit Bulls, which is run by, her name is Deirdre, but we call her Little Darling on Facebook. And she's a huge Pit Bull fan and a huge Pit Bull advocate. And there are a ton of local organizations. If you want to donate to the SPCA, your towels and your sheets and boxes and all that, and just get out there, walk a dog, love a dog, and be nice to people. Yeah,
learn. You also want to learn the different quirks about breeds. Again, a dog is a dog first and foremost, but there are some breed specific. Like, if you have a family, maybe a puppy isn't the right thing for you with little kids, because that puppy is going to nip and going to have terrible manners at first. Maybe a 2 or 3 year old dog that's calmed down a little bit is a better option. If you're lazy, then get a lazy dog. Don't expect them to adhere to your lifestyle. You have to find the right dog and fit for you. So yes, do your research. It's very important. Things like herding dogs, like collies and Australian shepherds, they're bred to control herds of animals that are larger than them. So if your kid runs across the floor, chances are that dog's going to chase the kid and nip at its heels. That's a bite, So, and not just your kid, maybe someone else's kid.
The whole neighborhood.
Exactly. You have to know these things. And the fact of the matter is, you have to be able to give them the exercise and release the energy. That's what they deserve. Leah, your final thoughts on this?
I think I said it. I just, I just think it's such a repulsive thing. It's basically racial profiling in the dog world. I feel that it's a cop out for politicians in a way. It's to make them look good. And I think what I want to know is, I know you guys mentioned some more, but if we want this to stop, how do you stop it? What should our listeners do to help eradicate the world of these horrible laws against these dogs.
I think organizing on a small level, one at a time. Yeah, there are lists out there where you can look at your home state and see which towns and cities have BSL, breed specific laws. And I think it's just a matter of flooding the legislators' inbox with pictures of your pit bulls, loving your kids and having a great time. And starting that way, and just demanding they listen to the facts and not these terrible websites. Another thing you can do is you can only give your money to insurance companies that don't have BSL policies. I was reading one, and I didn't look beyond this, but State Farm has openly said that they will use it on a case-by-case basis, which means if there's a history of biting from your dog, because that bite history follows the dog, not the owner. That's another thing that should change. A bite history should follow the owner.
Right, it should.
As well as the dog. The dog's only going to live for 10 or 12 years.
Well, that's my point.
Chances are that owner's going to own 2 or 3 more dogs in their lifetime. That bite history should follow the owner, wherever they...
That's my point about the pet stores and how they're just repulsive. Any idiot can walk in there and get it. You could have a dog that just got hit by a car because you were an irresponsible owner and bit 10 people, and you can go get another dog. That's not the dog's fault. That's the owner's fault.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that should be looked into.
Right. There's some things that you can do, but at White Horse, we're going to, start a little campaign here to show off the great stories and great pictures of people with their pit bulls. So hopefully we'll do a lot of that, and maybe we can get some people behind us to do it. But, look into your insurance company. You're going to want to anyway. Either you lie on your insurance application, your homeowner's insurance, because there are homeowners insurance companies that will not issue a policy to people that own German Shepherds, Rottweilers, especially pit bulls. So, but even if you're just a dog lover in general, you should avoid those companies. Go to a company like State Farm, even if you pay a little bit extra, it's worth it. We have to, here in this country, our dollar speaks louder than just about everything. So if we hurt their profits, they'll come around. But also just this is an issue that's worth fighting for on a local level. So make your politicians aware that you will not vote for them if they're going to support these laws or refuse to fight to overturn them. If anybody's going to listen or take a phone call or a letter from you or read a letter from you or an email, it's going to be a local legislator.
Or show up to their office.
Right.
They have offices all over the towns.
Show up with your pit bull.
Yeah.
So my final thought on this is, look, if you're going to ban a breed for being dangerous, the most dangerous breed in the world is human. Ban them. Ban absentee dog owners, period. Not absentee pit bull owners, not absentee German Shepherd owners, not absentee Chihuahua owners, absentee dog owners in general.
Exactly.
And why are we still testing on animals when we have pedophiles and rapists and serial killers when we could just test products on humans and leave the dogs
That's
alone?
a good idea.
Agreed.
That's so true.
We have a whole end of the segment show to go over, but
End of the segment show?
End of the show segments to go through. But we'll let you go if you are not anxious to be a part of that.
I mean, I can.
We won't put you on the spot. If you don't, if you got to go, that's fine.
Yeah, I can hang around for a few minutes. When I dip off, you'll know. Just like I did for Greg Sterner, I'll just quietly slip into a coma.
Yeah, she just
slip into a coma. Is that all alcohol, Teaghan, that you're drinking there?
This is sangria, and it's a 1.5 liter, and that's how much is left. It was brand new when I opened it at the beginning of the show.
So, all right. So do you want to stick around for the end of show segments?
Hell yeah! It's my burning question.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true.
the best one ever. It's the best. I love it.
Okay. So let's take a quick break. I'll explain how this works, and then we'll come back. So we are back, and we're going to start off with what did we learn? We're going to let our guests go first here. So Teaghan, let's start with you. What did you learn today? It's been a very educational show. That's what we're all about here at PIP is education. What did you learn?
I learned that I need to go visit Mounts because he has a pitty, and pitties are fabulous, and I need to go see his dog.
Anytime.
That will probably be so vicious that I will get licked to death.
He is trained to kill you with kisses.
Yes.
So Mounts says that's fine. You can go over there. In fact, he doesn't even need to be there. His pit is
I
so
need your
vicious,
address.
walk in.
I'm really good at breaking in.
Okay, I don't lock my door, so I have a vicious pit bull to guard it.
Why would you lock the door? It's
send
so
me
weird.
your address.
Listen, I want you guys to tell me if this is completely irrational or not. So, I'm obsessed with Allison, and so like I moved to Florida, and we live in this nice complex and everything like that. But it's off campus student housing, and so there's a lot of riffraff that goes on, which is fine. So I'm talking to my roommates, and they're just kids, but they're super nice, and so they're telling me like we're right near this. We live right the basketball court. It's a super nice court, covered, lighted, and everything like that, so you can play during when it's raining outside. And so we're right near there. So they were telling me like, look, make sure you lock the back door. This is real close to a really bad high school, and some of the kids come over and they play ball. But our buddies just got robbed, broken into. So make sure you lock the door because you can see if the door isn't locked. So I was like, okay. So I'm like, whatever. I come from a town where I don't lock my doors either. So so then I start to think, I start to sit there. I'm like editing or writing or something, and I start getting in my own head, or I get a little high, and I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, what if they break in and they break into my room and they go for my computer, and then they look over and there's Allison sitting in her crate. And what if they steal her? That's like my biggest fear. Like some of these dogs are so coveted by people, but they don't have the money to pay for them or adopt them, or a rescue isn't going to adopt to them at all. They would steal them, I think. Should I put a padlock on her crate?
Yeah, and then you should.
Yeah, but they
you
could
should
still lift the
also
crate.
Well, so you're right.
Get posters made, just in case she gets stolen. Have posters made so you can slap those bitches on telephone poles.
Like pre-make them so that I'm ready to go.
Pre-make them.
Yeah,
I mean, Mumford disappeared, so anything's possible.
That was a publicity stunt. I would be devastated if they stole Allison. Devastated.
Well,
so then here's the other thing. Like, so we have individual locks on the doors with a fob that opens them. So I started locking my bedroom door. So even if they break into the house itself and they go to they wouldn't bother fiddling with the door that's already locked. They're going to go for the stuff that's just easily available, right? So I'm thinking, okay, that might dissuade them. But then what if there's a fire? No one would be able to get her out.
Right. That's the thing with the padlock too.
Yeah, you got to put a sign up.
Unlock instantly when the fire alarm goes off.
Oh.
I work in a lot of apartment complexes that have fob keys to get into the rooms and stuff, and they automatically all the doors unlock.
Yeah, well, I'm just training her to hate every person that's not me, so she'll just kill them if they.
What if these thieves set a fire knowing the dog's in there?
And they're able to identify the type of padlock immediately right off the bat. Okay, Robin, what did you learn today? Tell us what you learned.
I learned that when I do go to bed, before I fall asleep, I'm going to Google the poodle asshole. That is something that I learned that I need to see.
Yes.
Is the poodle's asshole.
Right.
Yeah. I'll send it to you. I'll find it on YouTube.
Yeah, save me the work and just send it to me. That's something I need to see.
Let's call it a balloon.
Straight up balloon. Yeah, balloon knot all day.
Bounce, what did you learn today?
I learned that you say dilly dally.
So does the rest of the world.
Yeah, Bounce.
How do you, Robin? How do you say dilly daddle?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't dilly dally.
Exactly. Thank you, Teaghan. It's
dilly
not
daddle.
It's dilly dally.
Dilly daddle.
I don't dilly
Stop
daddle.
Right.
I don't fucking dilly. Okay, I eat a dill pickle, but I'm not dillying.
And then do you daddle after?
I may if the mood strikes me.
I'm Googling it right now. Dilly. Oh my god.
You're wrong, right?
Nope, I'm not yet.
You're
Dilly
wrong.
daddle.
Delete that browser history.
No, you can't type in dilly daddle. That's automatically going to pull up. You have to just type dilly, and then Google will fill in the correct term.
But like a dilly
But
bar, like a DQ dilly bar, or like a dill pickle, but I don't want the two together.
It's just a term for just goofing off, not being productive.
But who
Dilly
says
dawdle.
Dilly
Who
dawdle?
says that?
Dilly, there's
I
dawdling,
that.
but there's not dilly dawdle. It's dilly dally. Stop dilly dallying around and get to work.
It's definitely all right. So I learned I was wrong. It's definitely dilly dally.
Is the internet confirming that now?
Yes.
Yeah, but the internet lies.
No.
And that says to waste time,
Only when I
especially
don't agree
in
with it.
indecision, dawdle or vacillate, vassal, whatever. I can't pronounce that
Okay,
word.
so it's you mean to tell me that is it an actual word, dilly dally?
Dilly dally
is a word, like in the dictionary.
Yeah, it's hyphenated.
Oh, so perfect. We were right. It's official.
But
Where did
dawdle
this come from?
is also a.
It was earlier today on the episode we were arguing about
So
it.
we're not going to dilly dally.
And then I got visually.
Visually.
I got viciously attacked. Like that.
Like I'm
of
a pit bull.
attack. Like you're a pit bull.
So you
And anyway, why isn't Pitbull, the human being, banned from Denver?
Why aren't Dalmatians banned? Because they're assholes in general.
Pitbull's Mr. Worldwide. He can go anywhere.
Right, but why? That's not fair. He should be euthanized as soon as he walks into Denver. As soon as
I
he
have
lands,
a question for you PIP pimps. If y'all were recording earlier and you know I work a lot, why the hell did you wait until all asshole late?
We started recording at 9:30. 9:30.
Are you serious?
And then
Why
you were
didn't you
dilly-dallying
tell me?
around?
Because we had to do the beginning part of the show.
Yeah, then we dawdled.
Yeah.
Right, and we wanted to
Mm.
dilly-dally
Well,
and
why
dawdle.
couldn't we dilly-dally together? I mean, this is supposed to be a united
Because-
front.
Well,
we're
we're not.
family.
We're look how much time we've spent. If we started, everybody started at 9:30. We wouldn't be halfway through the episode now. So just let me listen. I'm the expert here. I've been podcasting. I've been podcasting for 9 months longer than you.
Ooh.
Yep.
Makes it legit.
Leah, what did you learn today?
I learned
That her
That
makeup was
Robin-
fabulous.
I learned that the conspiracy palette is not good for me. But I also learned blue is not my color. I also learned that Robin
So you learned lots of things.
she's out to get your job. She's going to take over White Horse Media. That's what I learned today.
I actually made him move to Florida. That's why.
Yeah. Well, that goes for me too. I learned that Robin needs to be knocked down a peg.
Right. Yes. That's what we learned.
She's gotten way too confident. I've been too lenient of a boss.
It's going to slowly change to White Hose Media.
Yes.
You said you wouldn't tell them, Mount. You were supposed to give it up. That was a secret.
Bounce
damn
for
it.
the win. Oh my God. Yes.
Just because Andrea said that I was the light of her life, everybody got their panties in a bunch.
Well, I mean, look, you don't know how to handle the compliments. Like me, when people compliment me, like when people are like, "Oh, you have such a great voice," I'm like, I don't change. You've changed, Robin.
I didn't change. I finally said more than 5 sentences on a goddamn episode.
That's changing. Stay in your
Hey,
lane.
I've said more than her.
No, because with Amanda and Leah, I can't get a word in. So finally, I was able to edge in.
Well, now you know how I feel.
Right?
All you do is talk.
Me or
Well,
Jeff?
I mean,
No, both of you. Come on, Mounts. We're going over to White Hose Media.
Perfect.
so why don't you take Bounce and Wags and start your own podcast? It'll just be 3 hours of silence.
With no video.
Right? Yeah.
Eventually you'd get a "oh wow" from me in there.
oh wow, we haven't even recorded anything yet.
Oh
When
yeah.
he's not taking his dog for a walk, take her out to the bathroom.
Well,
And Leah,
look,
is that the
Mouse is the only
conspiracy palette or the controversy palette?
Oh, I think it's controversy.
Because you said conspiracy.
Oh, sorry, my bad. It's the controversy. My bad.
This is a man show.
I know.
Why are we talking about makeup?
Because Jeffree Star is the most
outnumbered
ever.
3-2.
Yeah,
Right?
outnumbered everywhere.
P-I-P.
All of Whitehorse has turned into a.
I know. It's a total pussy
all
party.
Powerful women that are way smarter and stronger than I am.
And it's Taco Tuesday, so hello.
When we
this is coming out Wednesday, so it's not going to be Taco Tuesday when this comes out.
Damn it.
Okay,
so it's almost Wednesday.
Right. In 11 minutes, it's going to be Wednesday anyway. Okay,
oh my God, I'm getting up in less than 5 hours.
All right, let's
if you would just play your normal role and stop talking, be able to get through this shit, but you keep interrupting. You have to comment.
Hate you all.
Look, you have to comment on everybody's answer. And, that's my job to comment. But if there's two of us, there's two cooks in the kitchen, we're never going to get anything done.
Well, as long as Mouse isn't in the kitchen, we're fine.
Oh my God, you guys were on fire tonight.
Poor Mounts realized where this was going right off the bat and just muted himself for 40 minutes.
Hashtag poor Mounts.
Hashtag
Hashtag poor Mounts.
Let's get it trending.
First time on Pookie in Paradise it's been outnumbered with females.
What's that?
Is this the first time on Pookie in Paradise it's been outnumbered with females?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
And it's going very poorly.
This is the best episode.
Will happen again.
In fact, I'm not even going to air this episode. That's what's going to happen. So burning question comes from Teaghan. She posed this question to me earlier today. She asked me, what would I actually do for a Klondike bar? So I pose to the four of you, what would you actually do for a Klondike bar? Teaghan, since it's your question, we'll start with you.
It depends on what flavor. If it's a Reese's, pretty much damn near anything that is legal.
Like what's the limit? Like, where do you draw the line?
There is no limit if it's a Reese's as long as it's legal.
Like, would you let someone take a dump in your mouth for a Reese's Klondike bar?
Legal and not disgusting.
Well, you didn't say that earlier.
Not disgusting.
So
and
not
legal.
Disgusting. Okay, so now we're talking
what if
about
they shit out the Reese's? Like, what if the Reese's just came right out of their asshole?
Someone held it in their ass crack.
Dropped in your mouth.
Right, they farted out a Klondike bar into your mouth.
And then they time traveled.
Well, here's the thing. We're getting into what is disgusting. That's subjective.
If it has to do with shit on top of me, no.
Okay, so you draw the
I
line.
may pick up shit for a living, but I don't deal with shit from people.
But you will not.
There you go.
You will not take a shit in the mouth for a Klondike.
No.
Not even your favorite flavor.
No.
Robin, since you have so much to say, what would you actually do for a Klondike bar?
I wouldn't do much. They're not my favorite.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah. All right. I was hoping there was going to be one of those answers on this question. It happens to be you, which is good because now the audience will hate you. I happen to know for a fact that most of our audience across Whitehorse, including Mams, are Klondike bar fans, and you've just alienated yourself.
Well, then I guess I have to leave and find a new family.
Right, it won't be long.
Okay.
Mounce, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Currently, there's nothing you could do to make me eat a Klondike bar because I'm on a weight loss challenge.
What? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm trying to lose weight to win some money. And I'm not eating sugar. Not even if someone flashed me right now, I would. Well, I can't say that. If they were the crunchy Klondike bars, I would have. There was a time I would.
I love the crunchy ones.
They're my favorite.
That's my favorite.
Crunch bar, Klondike.
I don't care about the name. I don't care about the official name. People know what we're saying when we say the crunchy ones. There's only one kind of the crunchy ones.
Like, I'm a big fan of the vanilla,
crunchy.
the plain
that's
regular.
Not crunchy. That's Heath.
I do like Heath, bars.
Yeah,
but
the crunchy ones are the best. Yeah. Okay. So under normal circumstances, if you had lost all the weight, you are a slim 130 pounds. You can see your abs.
130-pound mounts.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? I don't think the hair on your body weighs less than 130 pounds.
Yeah, no, that's my plan for the weight loss challenge is just wait and then shave all my body hair off.
Right.
And that'll 30 pounds I need to lose.
Right.
Yeah, for a Klondike bar though, I would there's not a lot I wouldn't do for a crunchy Klondike bar.
Would you let someone shit in your mouth?
I wouldn't. No, I don't do shit. Yeah. But I would eat a crunchy Klondike bar out of someone's ass.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
That sounds his next punishment. Can we put a crunchy Klondike bar in Robin's ass and make him eat it?
It doesn't sound like much of a punishment if you're going to enjoy doing it.
Yeah, please don't do. Yeah, I was trying to make a way to sound like,
right.
Oh God, please don't let me do that. But I would gladly. On a Tuesday, whatever, I would eat it right now.
You would gladly eat a Klondike bar out of Robin's asshole.
In 3 months. Let's put it in the books.
Why does it have to be mine?
I don't know, because you're the punish. You deal out the punishments. You're the sadist of White Hose Media.
Leo,
right,
Leo,
well, I mean, I'll get waxed. It's fine.
Leo, well, you enjoy getting waxed, Robin. That's not a punishment. It's got to be something you don't enjoy.
I'm going to get waxed so that the Klondike bar easily slides down.
I was about to say, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm looking out for you. I got you.
Very kind of you.
She's very welcome.
Leah, what would you actually do for a Klondike bar?
So I am going to disappoint you like Robin. I don't like Klondike bars.
How can you not like Klondike bars? Do you like ice cream?
I like ice cream.
In a
like
cone,
chocolate?
Yeah, or a cup.
What'd you say? Do I what?
Chocolate. Do you like
know
chocolate?
what? You should know this. You should know this answer. No, I do not like chocolate.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Well, it's like a weird
but
thing.
you can
When was the
always
last time we
peel
talked about
the chocolate off and have a fabulous inside of flavored ice cream.
Yeah, but it's just
That's a good
at
point.
that point, it's just ice cream. Like you can get ice cream and
and
not
it's
have to peel the chocolate off.
It's not delicious. It's plain fucking fake vanilla, and it melts, and it's wrapped in tin foil. What kind of bullshit is that?
Only the regular kind. There's like 30 different kinds of Klondikes now.
Tell me more about. Robin, tell me more about this fake vanilla ice cream.
That's what's in a Klondike bar.
Well, let me tell you what I would do for a Klondike bar. I'm going to take this question very seriously. I'm going to give a definitive answer, right? Because as I'm listening to you fools talk about what you would do and not being able to outline something specific, I was thinking of, I love Klondike bars. I wouldn't say it's my favorite ice cream bar or my favorite ice cream ever. I love them. And I would be willing to do certain things in order to get them into my belly. So I was thinking of what's one thing that I really hate the taste of, and it's Brussels sprouts. They disgust me, and they smell and taste like feet. And I remember growing up, my parents would make me eat Brussels sprouts, even though I didn't want them, and I would literally gag. I would force them down. And you know what the prize was? Dessert ice cream.
Klondike bar.
In some cases, yeah. So I was always more motivated when there was something on the end of that rainbow. And Brussels sprouts are literally the worst fucking thing in the entire world, I believe. So it's almost like eating someone's asshole. I almost think I'd rather eat shit than Brussels sprouts. That's how much I hate them. So I would be willing to eat an entire gigantic bowl of Brussels sprouts,
like a BJ size,
and
like a
gag
Costco
them.
size.
Here's the thing though. Here's the trade-off. I want to eat all 6 Klondike bars in the package, not just one.
Yeah, how many times have you been there where you ate 4 of them and then you're like, how do I explain this? So you got to eat the other 2.
I mean, yeah. You eat 4 and then you put the other 2 back in the freezer and you're like, okay, I'll save those for tomorrow. And then an hour later you go back and say, fuck it, I'm just going to buy a new thing tomorrow. Might as well eat the final 2.
I'd buy them for the house and I'd eat 4 and be like, oh shit, there's 3 other people here. I got to eat the other 2 and say I forgot the Klondike bars.
We were making fun of Robin for falling asleep or missing out on stuff, and here Leah is just fucking internet, phone.
She's probably finding the poodle asshole to send it to me.
Can I talk about how I have Sprint and I'm doing better than she is?
Right. Well, Sprint is, if you're in the right area, it might work. But
I have Sprint.
Yeah, I have Verizon. It's amazing, but I know a lot of people that have Sprint and love it.
Well, Leah's about to have Sprint again. Okay, so let's move on to what pisses us off.
Leah's internet.
Right. Well, does that piss us? Can we all agree? Like that's what pisses us all off. So, Bounce, let's start with you. What pisses you off? Because I know this is what you've been waiting for all day.
Yeah. Well, now I'm so tired that I'm not pissed off anymore.
You're not as pissed off anymore. You've calmed down. It's been almost 3 hours. You've finally been able to just be like, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, that's my general problem is I don't have much of a temper. But no, what pisses me off is everyone knows my driving situation. So I have a special Uber driver on Sundays who drives me every Sunday to work because there's no buses. And he's like, just give me a call, make sure I'm available because I do take rides in the morning. So I call him, says he's good to go Sunday morning, never shows up. No mess. Today, it's technically Wednesday now, still haven't heard from him. And I know he's fine because he posts on Facebook, but I was late for work.
You're Facebook friends with your regular Sunday Uber driver.
Yeah. And he aligns politically with me,
I guess when you're spending that much time in a car with someone, you run out of stuff to talk about. So politics and religion do come up.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's on the same level as us politically, completely anti-Trump. That's all he does is share memes, stupid. But he's a great guy, but
just not reliable. Is this the first time he's been late?
This is the first time that he's said that he could pick me up and then just never contact me. So
here's what you're doing. You're forgoing the Uber app and paying him cash, right?
Right. And he gets
all of it. He's giving you a good deal.
Right.
But the repercussions there for you is that you can't give him a 1-star rating or review him or complain to Uber.
Right. So, but now I'm kind of hurt, like a spurned lover.
Would you say that since I've moved to Florida, this is now your only friend, and that's why you're so hurt?
That's probably more like it.
Okay.
That's
what I figured.
It's sad.
Well, listen, I would be pissed off too. I mean, you're depending on this guy.
Right.
He's being very, very unprofessional.
But then, plot twist, my brother picked me up and took me to work and drove me home.
Well, that was finally he came through. All right. And
hey, Leah, what pisses you off?
Well, let me tell you what pisses me off. When I'm talking with my friends and I get cut off.
Well, that pisses us off too, Leah. What are you going to do to change it?
I'm going to switch to another shitty cell phone service. And
are you going to get one that won't merge with your previous provider?
Nope.
So you're going to purposely pick one that's about to merge with your previous shitty cell phone service.
That's my plan.
Fucking gets the award for the worst yet funniest impression ever.
Yeah.
That needs to be a segment on the show constantly.
Well, let her keep
missing
the end.
Going to be right. Gonna have to. Teaghan, what pisses you off?
So what pisses me off is people who have seen my name numerous times, are Facebook friends with me, and still spell my name wrong.
How do you feel about that, Robin?
Well, I'm still kind of here.
This is fucking...
But, fuck you, Jeff. All right, my name's Robin Lynne with an E.
Right. Well, you would agree that
I get it.
Without an E, it's still pronounced Lynn, though, right?
I mean,
and in all fairness, Teaghan without the H is still pronounced Teaghan.
Yeah,
that H isn't doing a whole lot.
but you see it so many times, and it's not just you. So many other people, like in my past, and like people who have tried to report me for shit, have spelt my name wrong. They've spelled it right correctly in the beginning, and then it's turned like, oh my god, how do you get these spellings? Like,
well, in all fairness, it's not Teaghan.
But
it's not pronounced Teaghan.
In Messenger,
so it's not like
you
I'm
know,
missing
in Messenger, like you see their name right there. They have still spelt my name wrong.
Yeah, but I don't pay attention to that, and it's not like I'm missing the T, which is the most important part of your name. I'm missing the H, which you don't even pronounce.
Is this secretly all about Jeff?
Yes, both of them. I'm getting shit.
Fuck y'all. There is an H in my name. I don't care if it's silent or not. Spell my name right.
I get it. Well,
now you'll never forget.
It's not incumbent upon me to know how to spell your name automatically. And again, it's not like I missed the T.
Capitalizing the H from now on when you write my name.
I'm spelling your name horribly wrong every time.
I mean, horribly wrong. Close.
That's all that matters. Close is all that matters.
This isn't horseshoes or hand grenades.
Well, I mean, you have a point, but it's kind of like the same thing when, well, never mind. I have nothing. I thought I had a clever joke there, but I digress.
We'll let it.
You failed. That's all you need to know.
Either way,
Jeff. So now you can edit it in.
Right. Either way, I'm most likely not going to change my ways. I don't change very often. I prefer without the H. It's one less letter I have to type. Same goes for you.
You're probably just going to capitalize the H from now on just to be a dick. And I'm going to giggle because of it.
Well, we'll see. So what pisses me off? I'm gonna go back to being serious here. And the only reason I picked this one, it just happens to have to do with the topic that we talked about today. The dude has a 30-30 on ESPN. Like, I just don't get this. I hate people like Michael Vick. This guy who's done terrible things to defenseless animals, has not done nearly enough to make up for it, and he landed right on his feet with millions and millions of dollars living a great life. Like, it's not fair to me. Okay, that's our show. I don't know. Should we forgive this guy, or am I being too harsh?
No, I think
no. Never forgive him. No.
He electrocuted dogs, choked them.
He killed dogs.
Ripped out their teeth. Cut off their lips.
Can we do that same shit to him?
Right.
So he knows how it feels?
Yeah, he did his time. Or he did time. I don't know if it was enough.
No.
But he gets out. He immediately gets a contract with an NFL team. Finds success again. But the whole time, like, any kind of advocacy he's done is only because he got caught doing what he did. Not because he feels for the dogs. He doesn't have any remorse for that. At least he never talks about it. He doesn't talk about it enough. He should be donating half of his salary to making sure these dogs have a home. Plain and simple.
He shouldn't be getting any of that salary. Like, I'm looking at my dog right now, and to think of the things that he did to these dogs, if any of that were to happen to her, no. He should be in jail forever. Like, animal cruelty is worse than anything to me.
Yeah.
Like, they're helpless creatures. They can't communicate with us. No, you should not hurt an animal.
Look at your dog. If you're listening right now and your dog's in the room, look at your dog and imagine cutting off his or her lips. And tell me this guy should have an ESPN 30-30 about him. About all of his accomplishments. What the fuck did you accomplish, dude? Get the fuck out of here. Hate him. Hate the man.
Oh, so do I. Like, unacceptable.
Well, we are about at our 3-hour max. But it's a good thing because Robin is officially asleep now. Leah has disappeared off the face of the earth once again for the final part of the show. So we should be able to run through these plugs real quick. Teaghan, do you have anything to plug?
I actually do. So, I got my dog from Providence SPCA, and it just so happened that March is their Pity Month, St. Pity's Day. So I would like to plug the SPCA in Providence County, Delaware County. So, yeah.
Mounts, how about you plug where you got your pity?
We got it from the Berks County Animal Rescue League.
Who've just transferred or converted themselves to a 100% no-kill shelter.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's where we get all our animals.
They're not a rescue, they're a shelter. So
They're
most
shelter.
rescues are not no-kill, but shelters a lot of times have to be.
Right.
Because of the volume. You know, they have a contract with the police department in Reading, so any stray that they find is getting dumped off there. So they have to make room for these other dogs coming in. They have made the commitment to be no-kill, so show your support for them 100%. And I will plug where I got my dog from, Pibbles and Paws Safe Haven. It's up towards Allentown. They are a wonderful organization because not only do they care about the dogs, but in the last moments, they go down south and plug these pregnant, mostly pit bulls, but all types of dogs. They're usually pregnant, or the puppies, the litters have been dropped off. And there's no applications on them. Down south, quite often, dogs are a commodity, not a pet. So there's no regard for their well-being. And these shelters are overrun with puppies and pregnant, females. So this organization does their best to pull these dogs right before they're about to be euthanized and bring them up here and take care of them, wean them if they have to. They have wonderful fosters that housebreak and teach basic obedience, and there's just a plethora of puppies. So all those people that say, I don't want a shelter dog because I want a puppy, check these guys out. They're on Facebook, Pibbles and Paws Safe Haven. They have puppies galore. Rescue, Teaghan's holding up her, what is that, a coaster? Rescued is my favorite.
A block I got from one of my clients saying Rescued is my favorite breed.
Right. Dogs only know that they're dogs, nothing else, nothing more. So let's treat them as such. Check out PIP on our social media. Check out The Ever-Evolving Truth. Seasons 3, 4, and 5 in the works. Check out Moms in Mayhem every Monday morning on most Monday mornings. They're doing a wonderful job. Check out our Instagram. And if you want to help, check out White Horse Media, where we'll be featuring various Pitbull stories, dog stories in general, feel-good stories, things like that, as well as our other professional stuff. But until then, we will see you next Wednesday. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It's me, Leah.